StreamYard says it's showtime, so we trust StreamYard. I need to get a little bit more organised with my Wednesday night streams, really, don't I? I've got to start thinking of topics in advance, preparing things a bit better, getting the notification out a bit sooner, and all that sort of stuff. But it's just not my way, unfortunately. I am a creature of last minuteness. If there was a last minute monster in D&D, it would be me. But I am joined tonight by Intellectual Quandary, Iman. Hello. And
Hello.
I believe there may be one or two more people joining in a bit. Things to do at the moment, but the link is out there, and I think I might have at least one, maybe two more people popping in later. Of course, if you do wish to join, those of you
I
who
just
do
grabbed
wish
that
to
out
join,
of the ether. Holy shit.
yeah. Of course, if you do wish to join, you know where the link is. It's in the Discord, in the stream invite section. We have got 3 potential topics to discuss tonight. Topics I don't think would fill a 3-hour stream, but hopefully we can do 40 minutes to an hour on each one, and then have a bit of a witter at the end about all sorts of nonsense. So, hello, Helicar. Hello, Andy. Hello, Jean. And Iman, would you like to tell people about what we've been doing since you last saw all these good people?
Oh, it's been a while. Yes, there's a lot of occurrences. So, John and Mike went to UK Games Expo on Friday, and then me and some of the other guys came down on Saturday. You might have seen the pictures in the Discord. But yeah, we all had a whale of a time. It was lovely getting to see people in person and just sort of, you get to know people better that way. So it was nice.
While Iman
Especially after so long talking to you online.
Iman, keep going and start and talk about the games we've played as well, because I just want to edit the title of this stream. There's something I forgot to put in that title.
Oh dear. Okay.
Just bear with me.
So what did we play other than that one shot? You didn't do anything on the Friday?
No.
Yeah, so John ran a Call of Cthulhu one-shot for me, Mike, and Joker on Saturday evening, which was set in good old Yorkshire, 1984.
It's because it's one of the few British accents I can do, apart from my own.
You're not far off Lancashire, to be fair. I mean, I can give you a few lessons if you want. But yeah, no, that Call of Cthulhu one-shot, whilst it was great, I feel like it started a bit slowly and ended quite quickly, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
So like things ramped up really quick. And that being said, we all put up a commendable effort, but in the end, none of us survived. 2 of us died and 1 was in slavery forever. Indentured servitude, sorry.
The thing about writing Call of Cthulhu scenarios is I find they need to be play tested. I'm not particularly good at creating a detailed scenario from nothing. I need something to work with. I can work within a framework, but if I haven't put enough meat on the framework, remember, I was only aiming for this scenario to last a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long it did. It did, yeah, it did. And sometimes if you're going to have a 2-hour scenario, you've got to have a bit of an explosive ending. But I probably needed to put a little bit more in early on. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I've got ideas of how to flesh it out a bit more to try and turn it from a 2-hour scenario into more of a 3 or 4-hour scenario.
Yes, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I completely missed the hints that you were trying to drop.
Well,
I don't think Mike did. I think Mike picked up on them quite well, but I definitely didn't.
No. But then the one person
I got all
who
the detail. I didn't understand what you wanted me to,
Well, to be honest, I hadn't written a solution for it.
Oh,
I wanted you lot to come up with a solution.
fair.
And what Mike came up with would have been a viable solution that I'd have said yes to. But unfortunately, they're all dead by then.
Well, I mean, again, it's not for lack of trying. I was actually somewhat close to succeeding in killing one of the things, but then someone had to interrupt me because they were insane and thought I was trying to kill their friend when they were anything but our friend.
Well, that's how it works. That's how it works. I mean, he had been hypnotized, so I'm afraid.
Why are you hurting Toby? Stop it! What are you doing, mate? I'm trying to. He's killing us.
Yeah. Well,
but it was great. It was great, especially because I've only played sessions online before or over Discord. Having my first like TTRPG session in person was good.
I think I'll keep that mechanic though in the one if I'm going to run it at Clericon, because it's likely to be a larger group, so it won't matter so much if one character has been taken out of the equation effectively.
Yep,
remember, it was 1 from 3 taken out. If it's 1 from 5 or 6, then there's more.
It matters a bit less.
Yeah. Yes.
It doesn't shift the odds in their favor as much.
Exactly.
Them being the horrible creatures.
But I mean, I hopefully people have noticed the change in the name of the stream, because I have got to lean into a certain meme that has spread over my channel as a result of.
Did you change it? Let me see. Oh, you actually bloody did.
I did. Yes, I did. Yes. I mean, I've got to lean into the topics that people are clicking on my channel for the last 3 or 4 days. No,
let's get some more names in chat.
Expecting to find something that isn't here, but no, that short has had a lot of downvotes. Don't matter. It's my fastest viewed video for I think ever. I don't think I've ever had a video hit 3,000 views in its first 2 or 3 days, which was even if it is only 10 seconds long. But fair play to Mike. He takes that sort of stuff in good spirit, and
it was short, it was sweet, it was to the point. Yes. Can't complain. Anyone who does complain has way too high expectations.
Just let you know in chat that we played a game of OSE on Monday night, and I added 4 potential NPCs into the game, and their names were Sir Valois, Wurst, Monsieur Sausage, and Frank Furter.
I'll take credit for that last one.
Yes. So it is continuing, and Mike was playing in that game. He hadn't got his camera on, but he probably had his head in his hands at that moment, going, "Oh no, make it stop!" But yeah, it was funny.
Oh, he's a fantastic sport, though. He really is.
He has to be. He plays in games with my local group. They are constant piss takers. And,
yes, by the way, after playing 2 OSE sessions with those lot, I just want to say to everyone in chat, it's no wonder John can put up with all of us, because those guys are a level above.
Yeah, absolutely. But they're good fun. They're good fun to play with. They play the game in the right spirit. They have a laugh, and that's what it.
The most important thing is to have fun, right?
Absolutely. Yes, Alakar, those sausage jokes are just the worst. Splendid. Then we played some Call of Cthulhu last night as well, didn't we?
Oh, I neglected to mention my character's name for that Call of Cthulhu one shot that you ran.
Herb N. Haler.
Yes, Dr. Herb N. Haler. His occupation was stone owner, by the way. Like, I didn't write it. It was already on there. So I picked it.
Yes. I mean, it's sausage. It's a good meaty topic to make jokes about, isn't it?
You've got Halakar and DH and H going off on sausage puns now.
Yeah, absolutely. Going awful on puns. Right. So yeah, last night's Call of Cthulhu was a decent game as well.
Yeah, Mike was a very welcome addition. I feel like he added a lot of value to it.
Shows that my shenanigans haven't put him off. He's joined our Tuesday night Call of Cthulhu game and playing his buffoonish gentleman, which is the type of character he plays most of the time. He's quite it's his sort of meme character, the buffoonish English gentleman. But
he literally introduced himself to the rest of the party by saying, "Terribly sorry, chaps."
Absolutely. Right. While it's just us two here, I'm going to put a question out to chat, and this is the first topic for discussion tonight. I've written down all the stuff I spent on gaming, all the money I spent on gaming stuff at the expo. I know what Iman spent. Tell the world how much you spent on gaming stuff at the expo.
£8.
£8, yes. He bought some sparkly
one set
dice.
of dice and then had to hold myself back from everything else.
Yes.
I think I did well.
Sparkly green dice.
Although that being said, sorry, John did very kindly get me a gift.
I did. There we go. You can take the sticker off now.
No. Wait, this fucking background thing. There, now you can see it. Yeah. No, you can't. Now you can. But anyway.
I spotted that in the bring and buy and thought, I know someone who can make use of that, and it's a sensible price. So that's...
Yes.
There we go.
Never mind Yorkshire 1984, John. You're going to have to do Burnley 2024.
Well, yeah, we'll see. But that was the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu Keeper Handbook. So yes. Iman now owns that. So Iman spent a massive £20. The most expensive thing for him was probably the parking or the day ticket.
No, the parking was 95p more expensive than the ticket.
Right.
But that being said, look, 36 quid, 37 quid for a full day is not bad at all.
It's not bad, is it? It's not bad.
I was genuinely expecting it to be like 50 quid or more, but that being like 18 quid for a ticket for a full day is bloody pennies for a con.
Yeah. I mean, £18.95 for a day's parking if you pay on the day. You save £5 or £6 if you buy it, if you book it in advance.
Yeah.
So yeah, cons. Are they a bit of a con? Are they a little bit expensive?
But oh no! I need to check.
I still wonder if Mike is going to prank me, because he did threaten on the Friday when I wasn't looking to buy that and then give it me as a gift when we meet up in person next Monday. I hope he doesn't, because that will be stressful. That would be very stressful. And no, I wouldn't ever run it. It would go straight back in next year's Bring and Buy.
All right, that's me off. See you later. No, I'm joking.
Yes, you're right, Richard. It is about the experience. It is. Hello, you're wrong. Hello, Dirty History and Hobbies. Nice to see you. All familiar people popping in. So I've written down how much I've spent. Chat. What is the most that you have spent on a single RPG item or event? And do you regret it?
And then everybody put guesses in chat to see how much you think John over there spent.
So chat. I want chat to answer that question. What's the most you've ever spent on a single RPG item or event, and do you regret it?
I'm just loving all the sausage puns I can see on the side.
Yeah, they're off. They're off. Yeah, I mean that's what I expected. That's what I expected, and
Wow.
okay, Halakar's coming big. If you've got your phone with you, Iman,
I pulled
if
it
you
out
can
the
ping
ether.
the WhatsApp group and tell Mike we're talking about sausages,
I forgot.
he might join us in chat.
Would he join us on stream, do you think, or is he not?
No, I doubt it.
At Mike.
So anybody else? I mean, you don't have to beat Halakar's one there. Full physical copies of everything plus all the stretch goals. So how much? I had a look at those, and the problem was my budget would stretch to a couple of them, but it was a sort of product where it really looked like you wanted all or nothing, and I just couldn't justify that. Could not justify that at all.
I've sent it.
So, I mean, the most I've ever spent in one go, 10 hardcover books. Yes, I know. It was a massive package. Bit like that sausage.
I'm loving all these sausage puns. Keep it coming, guys. Make sure you link them.
$80 for a Monster Manual 1 in good shape. Was it one of the rare printings, or was it just a regular Monster Manual 1? That's the thing. For me, the biggest single outlay, it wasn't on one item. It was when I saw a guy listing a load of MERP stuff on eBay, and I pinged him a message and said, can I make you an offer for your entire collection? And he says, well, some of the things have already had bids, but I can offer you the rest of it. And we came up with a price of 350 quid. And we have a Saxius. Hello.
Hello, sir.
And I will say, if I'd have then gone home and listed each item separately, I could have doubled, maybe trebled my money. But I'm not going to do that. I don't regret that one bit. Don't regret it one bit, because it included some mint copies.
You're not about the money making life. You're about the hoarding life.
No. So Saxius, let's go back. Any gaming recently? Or has it all just been work for you?
No, I do still have my weekend gaming. So the most recent one was that the players defeated the Yon team in a wonderful epic finale. They stopped the Yon team from summoning forth a Merilith that was as it's more snake inspired, I decided that it was going to be a demon of the Yonti god that they're trying to bring forth to basically defend their homes, but then also lead a counterattack. So now the players are back home, and they're now needing to sort of like I've told them to basically plan what they need to do, and I don't think they're going to do that. And my other group is they've had a new player join who went down and became against the exploration of the new world. And the player that's joined in is a wizard specializing in divination, which I am very excited about, because it's going to be more acquiring information for the group, which is always good. Having information is key. And it's funny because he set it up so that he's an occult hunter, or a detective of the occult, which immediately puts him at odds for the gnome warlock of Cthulhu, who has been hiding the fact he is a warlock of Cthulhu. They kind of know he's a warlock, they just don't know what deity he's or what patron he's gone for. It's all been sort of left like, yes, he works with us. He'll be fine. We don't ask questions.
Yeah, maybe they should ask a few questions. I can see where that's going. I can see that going. So, Saxius, A very personal question. What's the most money you've dropped on a single RPG product or event, and do you regret it?
I did get into a eBay bidding war, which was for like a consolidation of second edition box sets. Does that count?
Yes, you have seen this before. You did show me the stack that you got. Yes.
Yeah. I cannot say I regret it. I have only used 2 or 3 of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 boxes. I've only ever cracked open 1 or 2 of them for cannibalizing it for stuff. But I've got the rest in the event that I need them.
Were they all completed in perfect condition, or the mixture?
I got one that was imperfect, but it had the things that the other box didn't have. So I was able to create one perfect. The rest of them are stellar. They were great. They've got everything. The only thing that most of them were missing were like maps and things like that, which that's not the worst case scenario for me. I really was after like the content of the books. But if I cannot use that, let me think here. I think, how much did I drop on that? Oh, there's another eBay one I had for a system that has been discontinued. It is rarely played when you go looking for it. The rules actually fosters party conflicts. And I think I dropped something like 120, 150 pounds on that off the top of my head. I'm trying to think of like what other books I have dropped an obscene amount. Oh, wait. I think I've also almost dropped the same amount for one of the complete Wizards spell compendiums for second edition, because they go for a pretty penny these days. And I'm eyeing up the priest spell compendiums, where one of them is for £75 and another one of them is like for £250. These books are not printed anymore. These are second editions. They were highly sought after for these books went through every single publications of Dragon Magazine, Dungeon Magazine, publicized D&D books and modules and world settings, and they consolidate every spell ever created by TSR in one book, in a multitude of books for the wizards and the clerics.
Yes.
Every single one of them. And I own the wizards one, which cost me quite a pretty thing, and now I want to see if I can scrounge up to have the priest ones, but the more I think about it, the more unlikely it's ever going to be.
Because the more you wait, the higher the price tends to go.
Yeah. I have seen one guy who has just printed out, who has bought the PDFs, gotten it printed out, and created one big tome for them all for the price of £75. But I don't want that. I want the originals.
Is that legal?
What? Yeah, no, it is. No, that's fine.
Okay.
You own, like, at the moment, WotC is selling the PDFs. If you go to to an independent bookbinder and book printer, that's yours. Like that's it. Like that product is yours. They do not print out these products anymore. So, you can print them out. It's no different than if you go to drive-through and you buy a PDF, any of the books from there, and then you go to one of the local printing shops and get them to print it out all there. Like, that's not illegal. It's just you getting it printed elsewhere.
That makes sense. I was just curious.
Gene says he's other than Kickstarters, he spent £40 on the Goodman Games oversized Judges Guild journal book. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look that up. He reckons that was a misprint on the price. I know Gene has invested in Kickstarters because I have I got my OSE box from Gene. He bought multiple copies of the OSE Kickstarter. So
The thing is, like with Kickstarters, I've been burned by a number of projects, which has just turned me off. Like unless I know individuals that know the creators, I generally don't back Kickstarters or any crowdfunds anymore. Purely because I've had too many of them fizzle out because they didn't know how to manage their own money.
I mean, I've been backing the Reaper Bones Kickstarters for a few years, and I've got a copy of Moria, which is currently, I believe it's in the printing stage now, and that's from a reputable company, Free League. I've got Bear's Kickstarter, and I trust Bear to deliver. And anything else? Any other Kickstarters coming? Oh, the next game book from Jonathan Green, the Ace game book, the Shakespeare versus Cthulhu one. I've backed that because he has a track record of producing. So yeah, those are backed and paid for, and they'll be arriving whenever they're ready. Richard wants a copy of Red Arrow Black Shield in good condition. That can be. It's one of the more expensive modules. It's not astronomically expensive, but it goes for typically 75 to 100% more than the more common modules, from what I've seen from my own eBay trawling. Mr. Baker has just pledged £300 on a game genre book called Outgunned Adventure.
Nice. I mean, that's wow.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
That's a large sum. Doof struggles to imagine what it'd be like to find D&D as a kid. Find D&D or fund D&D as a kid. I think he's mistyped there. I think fund might be. But we managed back in the day. But these days, a youngster getting into old school stuff without an income would have to basically rely on PDFs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Previously, Mr. Baker's max was about £200 on a Blade Runner RPG. Halakar says the Wizard spell compendiums are going for 50 to 120 US at Noble Knights. They're on his watch list.
Yeah, I have one of those. It's the priest ones that are very difficult to get. But if anyone else would, the Wizard spell compendiums, if you can, like the PDFs on their own, fantastic. Again, it is hundreds of pages of non-stop spells. Great source of inspirations. And if that is not enough for you, you've got the Encyclopedia Magica, which are 4 nicely thick, and I say thick, books with nothing but magical items. If you want more magic in your world, these ones on their own, brilliant. You would never need to open the DMG ever again. You have got everything for days: potions, oils, scrolls. I mean, hell, like the way you could just open up swords, weapons, and just start generating the magical items from there. It is incredible.
Yeah. Mr. Bay, you went all in on the Moria Kickstarter. I got the basic one, the cheapest option to get a copy of the hardback. So I've put about £40 on that. So I haven't gone anywhere near your 200, anywhere near it. And yes, you do spend too much money on Kickstarters. Dirty History and Hobbies has a copy of R1 to the Aid of Falks. For those who are not in the know, the R series were the RPGA tournament series that were only sold at conventions and through the RPGA in the early 80s. They were never for general release to shops. Thus, R1, R2, R3, and R4 all command a decent sum. A decent sum.
Hmm.
5 or 6 years ago, they were going for £200 to £300 on eBay. So, and that was for a rough copy.
Right. So, question for the two of you: have either one of you ever gone to eBay or Amazon and looked up to the current value of the original? It was like white box from like OD&D.
Yes, and when I did my when I did my research a few years back, you could get it in 2018 for about £200 to £250.
Yeah, I've seen some of them go as high as like 1,999. That's like, okay, you're never.
Do they sell? You're never going to get that.
No, you're never going to sell. But at that point, like they are intentionally waiting for the supply to just dry out, leaving them at the end.
Yeah.
It's the same as another Warhammer book that's out there for a system called Black Crusade, where you've got one book for each of the evil gods. The god for war, murder, mayhem, and all that. I have yet to see a price below 500, even £999. It's absolutely insane because people do not sell it.
No, quite. That's the issue. That's the issue. And the most when I was tracking the prices, I was only tracking auctions that actually sold, that started in at a decent level and actually sold, because I don't consider the buy it now prices to be a true reflection of the cost.
No,
True reflection of value is when two people are bidding for something, and that gives you an idea of what these people are willing to pay. So that's all I tracked.
I remember the boxes that I bought because the owner basically broke it up into two separate auctions. After I won the first one, I contacted him and said, "Is there any way I can just buy the other one outright?" And said, "No, it's got to play out." It's like, that's fine, but I'll get it. Okay. He went, "We'll see how it goes." I went, "No, you don't understand. I will get it." So I stayed up till like 2:30 in the morning just to snipe that one auction. Came to work absolutely tired, broken, but I got it. Cost me. Yeah, well, between the two of them, again, it was like in the hundreds that it paid. I paid.
Brian, yes, I do need to add a sausage command into Nightbot. I haven't done that yet. I'm a shocking host. I completely forgot. But I do plan to add sausage in there because it needs to. The meme needs to go around. Have you all seen the sausage video? The one that went mad at the weekend, that I've had 3,300 odd views on since I uploaded it on Friday sausage time. It's 10 seconds of my mate biting into a hot dog. That's all it is, with me saying, "Mike likes sausage."
You child.
Absolutely. Yeah, but it worked. It's got me +4 subscriptions according to YouTube's algorithm.
Look at this man. He likes to eat sausage.
Subscribe. Hey, Gene had an original boxed set for OD&D.
Oh God!
Got all the books and supplements for $50 in 2008, and lost it all in a fire.
Oh.
One of the things that people often say that's worth a lot is the Deities and Demigods with 144 pages. And I see
it's like the first edition.
Yeah, I see people trying to sell that for silly amounts of money. I've also seen people bidding for on eBay, and it's selling, and it being bid up to £40. £40.
It is worth a good chunk of money. But you've got to find the right market where they're willing to go that high.
Yeah, eBay's not the place for that. No.
No, it isn't.
No. You can get a copy of 144-page Data and the Demigods with a bit of patience for £40, which is about $60 in the US. If you find one that has been listed for an auction.
That made its way into your Call of Cthulhu one-shot, didn't it?
It did, yes. I incorporated it in my Call of Cthulhu one-shot scenario. Yeah.
Yes, and my character found it, and Mike's character was very jealous of this. Kept trying to convince me that it was a piece of shit and that I should just give it to him. And I was like, no, it's fine, I'll keep it.
When I watched the Blackmore documentary, one of the leaders, like the hobby museum or something like that, where they have like the old original D&D books that were made by Dave Arns and Gary Gygax back in the day, and they cut them out of the plastic. I vividly remember that I cried out, going, no, and my wife just coming down to see like what was going on, only for me going like, they opened it, it was sealed, it was perfect. And it's just like, I'm just gonna leave you. There's no hope for you, Oscar.
She left you to your nerd rage.
I was genuinely, yeah.
You were traumatized. So, the most expensive auction I saw where people were actually bidding was a copy of module ST1 of the Garden Path, of which only about 60 were ever sold. And I saw a used copy get bid up by, obviously, people were bidding against each other to about £3,500.
Ooh.
So that they would have then been able to pass that on to a collector for a lot more. I know someone who has a shrink-wrapped, sealed copy of it, and he turned down a bid of a 5-figure sum.
Wow. Yeah. Anyways, do we then now have stories about the biggest regrets we've had, or have you already shared that?
Well, I'm just going to reveal now. I want you to have a guess at how much I spent on my stuff at the stuff I bought at the expo. I bought the Mansions of Madness 2nd edition board game. I bought a brand new copy of the 2-book slipcase set of the Malleus Monstrorum for Call of Cthulhu. I bought, where is it?
It's in pounds, Brian. Sorry.
I bought that. 'Twas the Krampus Night Before Christmas. Limited edition. They've only made 100 of these. The author, To the Old Geek, Ho, 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 from the author. And this is number 13 of 100. I bought a set of Call of Cthulhu dice. I bought a Paranoia board game. I bought a Tales from the Loop hardback adventure compendium. I bought a Call of Cthulhu scenario. I bought 2 Goodman Games old school style scenario booklets, and I bought an old copy of Earth Dawn to see why Max Liao likes it. So that's what I bought. And I also bought Iman a copy of the Keeper's Handbook.
He did.
For 7th edition. How much did I spend in total
Are
in
we
English?
including that in the price, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, first and foremost, thank you to Daniel Keeney for the memberships that he's giving out.
Daniel, hello, Daniel. You've snuck in. You have snuck in, Daniel. And Omen Owl, David Mills, Master Blaster, Michael Stronghold, and Richard P. Those are the lucky recipients.
Oh, you're able to see them?
I have got it on my other screen.
Ah, nice.
And we've got a Kabuki kit as well. So how much for all of those?
You have spent roughly £180.
You reckon £180?
Yeah.
No worries, Daniel. No worries. Iman?
Hello, spooky kid. I would have said maybe like 240.
Okay. Okay. Michael Stronghold is indeed a walking fortress. Yes, Andy just bought a sandwich and a bottle of water.
Yeah,
Sensible
that's put him in
man.
debt. He has to take out a second mortgage now.
Ah, yes, Richard. 300. 300.
Richard. Okay. I'll give you the answer. And it is 249.
Oh, I was so close.
249. Wow. The Malleus Monstrum was £60. Mansions of Madness £60. That was probably my one extravagant purchase. That was 40 quid.
See, that was the only thing I knew the price of because I was there when you bought it.
The dice were a fiver. The Paranoia board game was £10. Tales from the Loop was £15. The Cthulhu Adventure was a tenner. Two Goodman Adventures were £19 in total, and Earth Dawn was a tenner.
How much was your Tales of the Loop?
15.
You paid 15 for Tales of the Loop.
It's an adventure pack.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like the core book.
No, it's a hardback book with a lot of adventures in. I'll get it. I'll show you.
Is that what it is in US dollars, Brian? Yeah, then that much.
Oh, yeah. No, you've got a different one.
The sticker's
because
still on there.
Yeah, because I also bought Tales from the Loop, but I bought the core book. I was thinking like, oh, wait, you paid how much when I paid full price for it? And I haven't even been given my PDF copy. Can't be bothered.
They did have a copy of the hardback copy of the core book for about £20 in the Bring and Buy.
That's still cheaper than what I bought it for.
Mm-hmm. I've already got the core book now.
See, that's
Hello, Daniel.
Hello, Daniel.
Hey, Dan.
Oh, Daniel's quiet.
Hey, I'm guessing it's just the usual IT problems, potentially.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw Dirty History and Hobbies' comment earlier, John, but he said he's got a Deities and Demigods first edition second printing, the one with the acknowledgement to Chaosium.
I don't think... Is that uncommon? Let me have a look what I've got.
That's a rare one.
The one with the
First
acknowledgement.
edition second printing with the acknowledgement to Chaosium, yeah.
Yeah.
That's mine.
The first edition I know was without it, and then the second one was because the Lovecraftian Society found out.
Special thanks are given to Chaosium Inc. for permission to use the material found in the Cthulhu mythos and the Melnimabean mythos. Yeah, it's got the acknowledgement in there. Mine has.
And all subsequent printings were without any of the Cthulhu mythos because they didn't want to do any more.
Mine's
so
128
he's
pages.
got the right one then. He's got the 144 page one.
No, he's got 128 page one.
And that's the same as what you've got.
Yeah, I've got the same one. This must be. Is this a second edition one here?
So which is the 144 page one?
The first.
The first edition, first printing.
Yeah.
Right.
The first edition, second printing was the one with the acknowledgement. I don't know. Did they take the acknowledgement out of the third printing then?
No, they took everything out in the third printing because you don't find the Cthulhu's mythos. There's no acknowledgement. There's a schism between TSR and the Lovecraftian.
I mean, mine's got no Cthulhu mythos in there, but it's got the acknowledgement.
Right.
Yeah, the 144 page one has the two mythos that were removed. Then it's removed and they printed it with an acknowledgement, and that's the one I've got. I wasn't aware there was one without an acknowledgement. But
so which were the two mythos that they removed then?
Melnimabean.
See that?
Oh, the H&H says his is 144 pages.
Oh, yours is 144 pages. Ah, right. Okay. So you've got a rare one then.
You got the expensive one. Maybe.
So mine's got an acknowledgement, but it has 128 pages. So I don't know. Is mine the cheap one then? Must be.
Well, if he's got the one that you were talking about, then he's one. At least we know someone who's got the rare one.
It's not that rare. The one with the 144
Hey,
pages.
Dan.
But I don't.
There you are.
How you guys doing?
Hello. Yeah, all good over here. Yeah, thanks.
Ah,
So-
the third printing is the 128 page one with the acknowledgement. So mine is the common one. Mine is the third printing. So mine is the crappy one. I'll show you there how much it cost me because I've never taken the sticker off. And I bought that at the expo 5 years ago. It's a bit used, but it's solid still.
When Mike's character found out that I got the 144 page version in the one shot for £5, he nearly had a hemorrhage.
The characters I made for the one shot. There was the stoner, which there was the comic book obsessive, which was Joker. There was the rabid collector, which Mike played, and the characters that weren't played were the power gamer, the prior of Gygax. What else was there?
Honestly, how could you play that?
Play what?
Prior of Gygax.
Well, the idea was that whoever played the character would be quoting Gary Gygax and saying,
Oh my god,
this game we're playing is rubbish because it's not written by Gygax."
that's funny. Yeah.
Like he had the self-awareness and the fourth wall breaking.
Yeah. There was the thespian as well, and his special item was a participation trophy at last year's Bogner's Got Talent.
What did my character have on him? Rizzler, tobacco, a lighter, and an ounce.
Yes. Yes. So yes, I did that. I was just messing about with them.
I was having a look at the characters, and as soon as I saw one occupation store, I was like, I kind of have to take that, don't I?
Okay. So a true first printing doesn't have the Chaos acknowledgement. Then there's a second printing that added it. Both were 144 pages. I've learned something today.
Kabuki Kid had all the knowledge.
So the fourth printing was 128 pages, but removed the acknowledgement. So mine is a third printing then. Okay.
I think there's been
Brilliant.
another gifting of memberships.
And there has Mercurius, and he's gifted memberships to Richard Payan, Saxius, Nosorian, Malachi, and Jonatas Sexas Cardozo.
Oh, I recognize 4 out of those 5 names.
I do, yeah. There we go. Thank you, Mercurius. You are a star. How are you doing, Mercurius? I know you've not been entirely well lately. Are you on the mend?
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Are you on the
mend?
mend? Yeah. I mean, it's like with the rest of us. It's old man things, isn't it? Really, Mercurius. So things start going wrong when you reach a certain age. I don't know exactly how old you are, but I'm guessing you're a similar age to the likes of me and Bear, people like that. Not these young similar age to Daniel as well. Not these two young whippersnappers.
Oh, really? You got to go there? Whatever.
All right, old people on that side of the screen, young people on this side, yeah?
Yes. On the mend. Good to hear it. Good man.
Oh, good.
You paid $8 for your copy of R1 to the Aid of Falks out of a used module bin in 1983.
That's about right. Yeah.
You lucky bleeder.
But what would that be worth now?
To the Aid of Falks?
Yeah.
50 times that or more.
Oh, God,
I'm figuring at least $50 US.
No, multiply that by 10, Dan.
You
multiply
think?
that by 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. If you've got it in good condition, all of that R series, you are talking 250, 300 plus.
Wow.
There's a couple of them that are rarer than others.
I actually have some of them.
The R series, then wow.
Now I have to go back through all my stuff. Maybe I can fix my garage and get my car repaired.
So what is probably the single most valuable item you own at the moment? For Iman, it would be his only RPG product, that wonderfully donated Keeper's Handbook, which is worth about £20, which is precisely what I paid for it.
Gifted kindly by this gentleman over here.
I don't know where to start. Between an unopened packet of second edition character sheets or the 3 Monster Manual 2s, the original edition of the Monster Manual, I really don't know where to start.
I would say mine is probably that.
Right.
There you go. Okay.
It's absolutely A1 mint.
Stop touching it.
There's a tiny scuff. There's a tiny scuff on that bottom spine, so it's not A1 mint. What would you class that condition? Very fine, excellent, whatever.
It looks amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
just under mint, I think, is excellent, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, and that's worth that. That's worth a fair bit. That is worth a fair bit, and that came in with all the books that I spent £350 on, and it was one of about 30 books.
Do not open it.
It's opened.
Well, I'm saying don't spread it out. You don't want to crack the spine.
No,
you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
Looks like Kabuki Kid made bank off sort of selling those R3 and
R4. R4 sold for $1,747.
Wow.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. So open up some of these here up.
So go on, Saxius. What's your most valuable thing?
Well, that's what I'm currently trying to get put up in front of me, because I've got some of them that I know that's got worth. The ones I hold of high value are the Encyclopedia Magica, but I'm trying to quickly find out how much they'll.
Saxius, that cracks me up because I have all of them, and then they did the little side thing where they had like 4 or 5 smaller books.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually looking through them Friday night, trying to come up with something for Saturday morning. But just to throw something a little small in. But I have all those. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I like them.
Mr. Baker, I am bitter that you mentioned Masks of Nyarlathotep, because one of the reasons I went to the convention is Chaosium always take their stuff to their stall, and then, unlike all the other companies who tend to sell it at recommended retail price, they discount everything by about 10, 15, 20%.
Yeah.
They were selling masks brand new, still in cellophane, for £60. They only took 4 copies with them. They sold out before I got there on the Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have had that in a heartbeat. That would have been like, mine, I'm off. They were selling them brand new for £60.
Sealed,
yeah. Most of the stuff you find on Amazon, those solo adventures that I ran everyone through on a Friday.
Right.
With the Alone Against the Frost, Alone Against the Dark, all of those, they were selling those for £8 each. And they are typically £12 to £15 on Amazon, which is usually pretty cheap. And Alone Against the Static is normally about £30. I had that for 23. So that just shows the amount they were discounting all their stuff. which is why I bought them. I mean, Malleus Monstrorum cost me 60. I think that might be the going price because it's brand new. They don't sell the brand new things at much of a discount. Just things that are a couple of years old. But you can get items that have been out a couple of years for 15, 20 quid off most of them. Right then, go on, Saxius. Go on, Saxius. You're primed.
So I've got a few. I've just spotted another one that technically it's a gold bar that I need to check on. So I've got my Encyclopedia Magica. Each of them are currently going at about £60 for bidding. So roughly, if you buy them as a set, you're looking about £200. I then have the Wizard Spell Compendium that is totaling up to around £300. I've got my complete book of Necromancers, which is in a pre-owned condition, which goes at about 110.
I have all these so far.
I was outbid. I was outbid for that book of Necromancers for a copy of that, and I wouldn't go above 20 quid. 5 years ago. And it went for 30.
It is a neat book, though. I do like it.
It's a very good book. I've then got the core book for Deathwatch in the exclusive one. They only did about 1,000 copies of these. That one goes for the quick one I found. It was around $223 US. That's give or take £175. And I've just realized I need to check what the value of my Dark Heresy first edition is worth these days, because I've got that in. Oh, okay, so that's going for about £50 to £70 for a core rule book that's now been out of print for I don't know how many years.
Right.
But that's these are the most valuable. Like monetarily, that is how valuable they are. I think if I took my entire RPG collection, I would be at about $2,500.
You got to bump those numbers up. This just came across my mind. I think it would be a really cool series if we all, like, each week somebody, this is what I have. I'm not saying that you get robbed, but like what we're on the subject now, what's your cool stuff? What do you have? Because back in 97, just by cover price alone, I had over $7,500. That's not counting collector value now. And I think it'd be, and if you guys don't want to do it, I understand, because you don't want to get robbed. Because there is going to be some nut job out there that's going to be like, oh, hey, I can break in and take all the shit. And
do you know how noisy it is to get into my attic?
It's kind of cool to see those old collectible books.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I mean, I'm just looking at one of, like, again, oh, that's tempting.
Yeah.
No, I was just looking up a.
Saxius, is your Encyclopedia Magica the one with the Wizard misprint?
The what?
See, I have everything he just showed, and then they made Saxius. Maybe John will know. They made like 4. They were the size of a module. But it was like a brief synopsis of what the items were, and it told you where to find them. Like, they were in Dragon Magazine number whatever, or Dungeon Magazine whatever, or whatever module. And I have all those, and I came across them last night too, or Friday night, whatever. Yeah.
Is that the one that you mean?
Is that the one that Kabuki Kid's on about? Because
all the
one of those.
I have all.
There
those
are 2 of these. There is this one, and then there is a one with a lady over over a crystal ball. This one basically,
I'm still wondering if Saxy, if you've got the version of any of those that have got the The one where where Kabuki Kid says here, where all the instances of mage were replaced with wizards. So words like damage became the wizard.
I haven't actually read this version. I just bought it, saw what it was, and I went, ew, why did I buy this? And it got stuffed into my shelf. And then I went for what I really wanted, which was these.
Right.
And
Yes.
this is
Hello,
I love
Cody.
those. They're amazing. They are.
Fake leather covers. 4-volume set with fake leather covers.
Yeah.
That's one you showed, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. What is the we've already mentioned it, but what is the one thing you most regret buying?
Jeez. All right, I need to put these books back. I'll be right back.
Oh my God. John, I can't make that list up. I don't know.
One thing you most regret buying of everything in your collection?
The basic, is it the Eternals? Where you turn into a god or something?
Oh, the Immortal set.
Yeah, that was totally useless. I've never even, I took the wrapper off of it, I opened it up, and about 10 seconds later I put it back, and I don't think I've ever looked at it again.
I've never played it. I've never read it, but I have signed up at Clericon to play in one of Father Aaron's lads' games, where he'll be running it. So that'll be my first experience of it.
Good luck, buddy. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes.
I was very, very unimpressed.
Yes. Here we go. The wedding ring I gave my ex-wife. Daniel, you've done that a couple of times.
Don't even get me started on that.
No,
Wedding
we
cakes and gown. Yeah, okay.
No, gaming wise though. I mean, I did in the 80s buy the Forest Oracle when I was in my teens. I didn't spend very much on it, but it was a waste of money. But it's given rise to one of my most watched videos. So there we go. I haven't rebought it, and I don't intend to ever rebuy it. I'm quite happy with an awfully scanned PDF of it. Hello, O'Neill Flynn. Hello. When
I have one other, and as much as I love the setting, and I spent way too much money on it, anything Planescape.
Mm-hmm.
I love the setting. I thought it was really cool, but nobody wanted to play it. Everybody wanted to read about it, but nobody wanted to play.
See, I'm on the other boat. I have a number of players that kept on going like, we want to play, we want to do like interdimensional stuff. And I sat there owning the Planescape box set, and I went, no.
Oh, yeah. See, I have yeah.
Go on.
I have so much Planescape stuff, and the only way it got used was when I read it to myself going to sleep. Nobody ever wanted to play it.
My worst purchase, officially, is that.
Oh my God. Really? You bought that, John?
But the reason why I bought it is my friend had a shop selling various sort of gaming stuff and memorabilia and collectibles, and I knew he was struggling for rent.
To
pay his rent,
because
they'd had issues in the shopping center with roof leaking and not being able to open every day because the roof had been leaking, and the customers hadn't been able to come into the main section of the shopping center, but he still had the rent to pay, and so I went into his shop and I bought that. So I don't regret buying it, but buying it, obviously it would have gone to his. But in terms of a product, it's an absolute waste of space.
Yeah,
it
waste
is
of time and space.
I appreciate the fact you're trying to help out your friend.
Oh yeah,
I do really truly appreciate that. But yeah, you're right. It is a waste of space.
It's a dreadful book. Yeah. So there we go. There we go. Did you answer that one? Anything what you regret, Saxius? I can't.
No, I needed to step away to get all the books off my shelf for that.
Yeah.
I have a number of them. Some of them I'm just going to collate together. Dungeon Crawl Classic.
Oh,
Oh my god! Like, I'm sorry, but like this thick. I mean, I have another book that is about this thick, called Zweihander. Not physically anymore. I have the PDF for it. It's about 800 pages thick, of just absolute waste of space and time. I don't see the value in Dungeon Crawl Classic. I've read through it, and it's just too much.
And this is embarrassing. Please don't hold this against me on Saturday morning. The spoof of Greyhawk Castle.
Oh,
Yeah.
WG7, wasn't it?
Yeah, I admit I own that, and I bought it. I'm sorry, guys. Don't hold it against me.
No, that's fine. Everyone has got their preferences. I mean, another
I
one
got
that
it, and I'm like, oh my god, this sucks.
right. I'm not going to say names here because I know the creator of this product has a Google alert set. So I'm just going to show, and I ask everyone, don't say anything. But if you recognize what this is, or I'll get the other physical
All right, no, I
product
do
that
not
he
have
made.
that.
I do recognize what that is, yes, and I know who the creator is.
Yeah. Or if you're unfamiliar, this.
Yep.
I like the setting, but that is about as far as I would go. Everything else I think can be done better. When I bought this, I actually went bit on a spree because I was thinking that's not enough. I found out a lot of it was uplifted from this book, which is a lot more interesting. But I regret I only bought this because I bought this. And I wanted to run this game using the magic from this game. And I just found I opened up a can of worms of someone had been plagiarizing other people's work. And the authors of this book openly turned around. There's no monsters in this, by the way. This book, there are no monsters. They straight up say, just pick the monsters from any OSR game. And it's just... it's a waste of money. I don't see that I'm ever going to run any of these ones. And yeah, they just sit on my shelf collecting dust now. Followed by that is Tales of the Loop. I bought it.
I have it.
Yeah. I vividly remember because I bought this one and Corollius. Corollius, how do you pronounce the name of? Not again. Just a moment. So I bought this book on top of this book when I was at a convention here in the UK. Now, I like this book. I am really satisfied with this purchase. This has been a waste of money because this is not a game for me. This is definitely not, that was the wrong thing. I only picked this one up because when I picked up Corollis, I knew I wanted it. When I picked up this one, it was between this and Simperon. And I asked the guy there, what are the pitches of these two? The guy who was selling it couldn't tell me. He couldn't give me a pitch on the two products. And I genuinely asked him, like, oh, what is this? Like, so I wanted one of the two. And in hindsight, I probably should have gone with Simperon because the more I learn about it, it sounds more to be up my alley. Well, that it makes me angry every time I pick out this book because it was the sales guy didn't know how to sell it. So I just picked it at random and I picked wrong.
I've played both. I've played one session of both games.
Yep.
And I enjoyed the Tales from the Loop session more than I enjoyed the Simbarim session.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's down to the scenario the location. Simba Room I played when it was in a quite a busy room. There was a lot going on around me. I wasn't really concentrating all that much.
Yeah.
It was quite a big chatty group. Whereas Tales from the Loop, it was a smaller gaming room. It was quieter. The group was smaller, and the scenario felt better written.
Yeah.
So
This is just down to, I know I do not have the groups that would enjoy this. I have barely read it. I just know that this is sitting on my shelf, wasting space. That's where my entire dislike towards it comes down to.
Yeah.
And last is a product by Evil Hat Production. I like the concept behind Blades in the Dark. I have found myself just getting into before, as I was leaving Twitter, I got into a lot of touch with the guys from this company, and
yeah,
I have
they are a
found,
bunch of absolute assholes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
yeah, very much so. And
yeah.
again, I like the concept behind Blades in the Dark. I like the concept behind a company of blades, which is the more combat-oriented version of it. But when certain aspects of the game is boiled down, I will probably not enjoy it because there's a lot of story focus, which I can do. I can work with that, but I've just found myself just looking at the product and going like, well, I am not going to run it because I doubt I'm going to have a group that's going to play it, and I also doubt I'm going to have
one of my Monday group has it, and we were planning to have a game of it, and he pulled out of running it. I don't think he could. I don't know if he considered it to be a little too much for him to run. I would happily take it off him, read it, and run it for them from what I've heard about it. But they're one of the companies I've decided I'm not going to give any money to.
And that's fair.
It's
very fair.
Saxius, and I'm not being a smart ass.
Mhm.
Believe me. When you said it was, I'm trying to remember the word you used. Sorry, my memory's shot.
That's right.
Storybook or
Story based.
So you mean they like railroad you? Is that what you're saying?
No. So rather than what's it called? I like my games to have some crunch in there. Some mechanics that you can put your meat into. Some rules that will help set that in. When you've got a game like, I'm just going to use Blades in the Dark. It's got a lot more focus around, the players roll some dice and then they make up the story as they go along. There's a lot of like improvisation, building onto what is like yes and then you build from everything from there. It's a lot of that's built into this setup.
I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, that would get, I don't know, annoying.
It's just from my DMing methods is that I will take a quote unquote short campaign, which is going to be every week for 6 months, and that's me testing out the game. Like that's a short period for me. For something like this, that is going to be a very long and dragged out thing because you're going to have a couple of 1 or 2 sessions preparing things, a session or two, having the actual heist, and then like things blow over. So you're looking at like a heist being done every month. Whereas my method of working is like you get told about the heist idea in session 1, and by session 8, you have only just acquired all the equipment for you to do all of this because you have got to go around. You got to get information. You got to get the groundwork. You got to get the inside of things. You've got to get the physical equipment. Like I want you to work for it, whereas this one will streamline it a lot more and make it easier. Again, I'm not saying it's wrong. It is for a specific audience. I am not that part of that audience, but I love the setup that they've done. The world is wonderful. It's bleak. It reminds me of the game called Thief. It reminds me of the game called Dishonored. There's some fantastic, like dark steampunk Victorian backdrops. the concept of you can't just up and leave. You're stuck inside the city. You make the people in the docks angry. You're not going to be going to the docks for a very
Yeah.
long time.
You
And
got
so
to
there
go
are-
get your papers to go through the gate. You got to.
exactly. And if
Yeah.
you piss off the wrong people, like they're gonna remember you. You are
Yep.
you are physically
like
stuck
that,
inside
yeah.
of a walled off city. You can't leave the city.
Mm-hmm.
So action has a reverberating consequence, and you've actually really got to think about it. I like this idea. It is a wonderful idea, and it really forces the players to think: what are we doing? Who are we upsetting? And are we able to deal with our lives if they are upset?
It's that. I honestly like that, and it reminds me a lot of Lankmore.
Mm.
That's the kind of It
Oh,
was
a seedy city.
yeah.
It is that. Yes, it is absolutely.
Yeah.
I
like
and
that.
I like the idea. Yeah, Blades in the Dark. It seems to me it could be a very, very engaging game to play. Very atmospheric. I like atmosphere. I like peril. I like consequences. It has all of those. But
Yeah. No.
Again,
okay.
you got to find the right group for this, and I just know that I don't have those groups immediately available, and my style is also very specific, so I need to make sure I learn the system inside out before I start making adjustments. Because again, that's one of the things. Like when you make, once you start making changes to something that's fundamental, you got to know what you're playing around with. But again, it is really just down to the creators taking me off. It's the same with the book called Zweihander, the creator of that book. He made a fantastic clone of a game that was discontinued for like a decade, and it's fantastic. I just got into a number of Twitter spats where he just rubbed me the wrong way, and he said the things that genuinely made me angry and upset. So I've just cut him and his products out of my life. That's the point where like I can't separate the artist from the art.
It's. I mean, yeah. It's, the one Evil Hat. From what I've read about, I've never been in any spats with anyone from Evil Hat. The only Twitter spat I was ever in was a guy from Green Ronin.
Oh yeah.
So Green Ronin. As far as I'm concerned,
That's funny.
yeah, Kabuki Kid, you're right.
Sounds like
Easier
you're
to separate.
just trying to tell them not to politely screw off.
Yeah, easier to separate the artist from the art when the artist is dead. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
Richard P, anything surprising happen at the con? The most surprising thing for me was two things. The fact that I came home with some money in my pocket, having managed to not spend it all on the second day, and I was able to control my spending.
And he still had a wife.
And I still had a wife, yes. And the second was the success, was the popularity of Mike's sausage.
You can go way too many ways wrong with that. Just saying.
But so if you haven't seen Mike's sausage, check out my shorts I posted of the con at the weekend. None of them were very serious. Most of them are meant to be tongue-in-cheek and silly. And Mike's sausage had over 3,200 views. And
Cool.
Mike wants it to stop. So I don't want it to stop. Let's get it. Keep the views coming, and let's make Mike a meme.
Yeah, that's funny. We can do that.
Yes. Yeah. But no. Green Ronin. Yes, I take back my previous comment about having regrets. I regret the money you spent on Modern Age and its source books. Yes, that's what the Zweihander took credit for. Yes, that's a lot of ill feeling about what he did there. You can sort of understand why he do it, but there's one of those things where
because he took down the fort in the Trove. He claims to have at least.
Mm.
So, playing devil's advocate, he made this book. It is his livelihood. This is what he's
Yes.
making his money on. On that front, like as much as I might not like the guy, he's still got to he's still got to bring the bread to the table for wife, kids, and himself. Like on that side, like I've done my dues. I mean, hell, I remember at one point he even said like, "I'll refund you the money if you tell me who it was." I was like, I don't want the money. Like I'm fine with you having paid you. I have the product now. I'm just not going to use it. And that's simple as.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, like again, I still do firmly believe that anyone who makes a product, and I mean like I don't mean like a company like Wizards of the Coast or Paizo or the bigger companies, but like the nerds who sit in their basement, people like Bear.
Yeah, exactly.
Give them the money. They've worked hard for it. I might not
Yep.
like Daniel Fox from Slyhander, but I've given him my money because the product he made is good, and I did at the time want to see more of it. Great, I had a schism with him. Great, I've moved away from it. That's fine. I'm no longer his client, but I still wanted him to succeed in making a good product, which he did. And
I mean, for example, what Mr. Baker says here, I bought so many physical books because of PDFs I got from the Trove. Yes.
Yeah, but again, this to me that basically boils down to like if you go to somewhere like the Trove, you buy it, and you go like, you know what, I really like it. That's what I do. I have got an income. I have got the spare cash to do it. I go out. I do it because I want them to succeed. Why? Because their product won me over. I know other people from my groups who are the opposite, who will not pay a penny. Why? Because it's free and they believe it should be free. Well, I disagree with them. I
disagree
them
as well. Yeah.
No, I honestly I agree with you because somebody put in the work.
Mm.
You can at least reimburse them for their time.
Yeah.
Even if they're not trying to make a profit, at least reimburse them for their time.
Yeah.
Okay. The first adventure I ran a PDF I got hold of in a dodgy manner from this book. I ran one of the adventures. It was the best Call of Cthulhu adventure I'd ever run at that point. It was the first thing I ever gave 10 out of 10 to on my channel. And what did I go and do? I went and bought that from Stygian Fox because it is a fantastic book and it thoroughly deserved it. And they thoroughly deserved it. And that's why I own it. I would never have considered buying it otherwise. But I became aware of it because I found a PDF of one of the adventures, and I went out and I bought that. And that is one of the best Call of Cthulhu source books I've ever found.
Yeah, completely.
It deserves it. They deserve it.
I mean,
I personally think if you are confident of the quality of your product, then getting free copies out there is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because there are people like us who will then say, this is really good. Someone's put a really good effort into this. I will put money on it. They deserve it. Yes, there are knobheads who won't. But
yeah, but I mean, till the cows come home, anyone who starts saying like, "Oh, I quite like this, but I won't pay for it," it's like, well, at that point, if I'm in the chats, I will just be telling you, no, you should. Whatever you can, even if it's just scrounging it up till you can, the moment you can, definitely do it because again, that is their time. That's what they've been putting into it. I mean, my real life group, I am going to be giving them a run through Heroic, and if they like that, I am going to be directing them towards Bear's site in the moment it comes out for PDF, and I'm going to tell them like buy the copy. You want the physical version? Great, go and get it. I mean, hell, if it goes well, I'll get a physical copy as well. Because if I've got a group that will play it, hell yeah, I'd love to run a superhero campaign. That'll be awesome, and I want his product to then be on the forefront so that I will at least get him another 5 purchases. I know at least one person in my group is going to say, "Well, can I get a free version?" It's like, nope, you're paying for it. You are paying for it, and you will be happy about that.
And Mr. Baker's absolutely right here. Free League have got a good reputation for producing quality products. Okay, you've got some free league books you don't like. You've got some free league books you do like.
Right. Let me just on that note. Of the ones I have bought, what has been consistent? Fantastic quality. I might not like the content of what it's trying to bring in there, but when you open it up and look at the pictures, amazing. The layout,
yeah.
stellar. Again, like you're getting a lot of like 80s vibes. There's a cassette in there. Awesome stuff. Again, I am more than happy to turn around and say, like, listen, this is not for me. That's what I'm trying to say. It is me. That is not the audience. That is not to put it down that this is not a good product. It's just, it was just for the wrong guy. Again, that's why, like, when I was trying to find out, like, between this and Simbaron, which one should I pick it up? I am putting the fault down to the guy who was trying to sell it to me because he didn't know how to explain either one of them. And then that's not the creator's fault. That's just a sales guy that didn't know what he was doing. And then I just got unlucky. But this is still something that I would say, listen to the people who like it, please, because they can give you a better yeah, go on.
I mean, even go back to the old AD&D days. I mean, I bought Forest Oracle.
Yeah.
It was shit. It put me off buying more adventures.
God.
And the proliferation of Dragonlance that was coming out around that sort of time. It put me off buying more adventure modules. But one of my favorite adventure module writers, Gygax, he wrote Against the Giants, which I consider to be one of the greatest AD&D adventure module packages ever put out. He also wrote Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. Not every writer will produce things that you will always like or always dislike. So I know it's a bit of a dodgy area, this whole try before you buy thing, but I've saved myself money on products. I've also spent money I wouldn't otherwise have spent. Forest Oracle wasn't the first module I ever bought, though. That's the thing. That's the thing. Forest module wasn't one of the first ones. I bought it in about 87 originally. So I'd already bought 20 or 30 other modules before then. So I knew it was a bit of an oddity. Free quick starts are fantastic. They're really, really good.
Yes, and that's also a great way of you getting out your product first and foremost, but it's also a great way for you to get the interest in, because if you've got a free quick start, I'm going to use Fantasy Flight in this example. When they came out with Rogue Trader, Deathwatch, Only War, and Black Crusade, they always came out with like a free module, which gave you an idea of like, what is this entire system about? What is the point of this? What are you playing as? And that's a great way for you as a player and as a DM to get a feel of like, what am I going for here? What are we trying to do? For example, one of the games called Only War, which is where you play soldiers in a sci-fi setting. Again, playing in a war scenario. A lot of people are thinking like, oh, great, we can play like Band of Brothers. That's awesome. Or All Quiet on the Western Front. What would you want to go for? You get these sort of like war inspiration movies that you can go for. It's awesome, and it's a great way for you to show to the buyers, this is what this is going to be like. If you like this as a taster, why not go for the main course?
I know generally they're not a popular company amongst everybody here, but look at what Wizards of the Coast did when they first launched 5th edition.
Yeah.
They put out a free PDF of the basic rules. They put out a starter set of a printed version of those basic rules, characters, and a very solid opening adventure. And they put it out for a sensible price. Then it went downhill after that, but they started correctly. They started in the right manner. So fair play to them for doing that.
Read Halakar's comment, one of the latest one.
Well,
imagine the person who has been telling marvelous stories of their gaming days as a kid and then buys a brand new 4th edition for their kids.
Halakar, is this some pain that you feel?
I think he knows how to worm his way under our skin, and he's sitting there grinning happy because Halakar, you have. How am I the evil man here? How am I the one that's evil when you write things like that?
You always are.
That's true.
But no, I mean, going back to that comment about surprising things at the convention, quite simply, it was the sheer volume. I mean, last year there were 30,000 separate attendees, 53,000 attendances. This year you can increase that by 20%.
Wow. That's actually a cool thing. I
but
like that.
I think they're going to have to rethink some of the layout of where the stalls are in the main hall for next year.
Oh yeah,
because it was very, very packed.
But that's a good thing, though.
Yeah, like I'd say that's great. I mean, I
agree with John. Yeah, they have to refigure the layout, but the fact that you got more than expected, I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, that's I want this stream to be multiple topics, so I had got a role.
One thing I do have an honest question.
Go on then.
I would really love to know the average IQ of the people in that room or building.
Above average.
I guarantee it was way above average.
There was a lot of nerds there, but there was a lot.
It was way above average.
But there were
lengths of hair shorter and sizes of belly bigger than average.
Yeah.
But
there were a lot of very odd people as well.
Oh no, a lot of basement dwellers. Yeah. People in their 40s still living with their mother in the basement. I imagine that too. So yeah. But then you have people like us. And it's like, that's what I'm saying. I want to know, it would be cool to know what the average IQ was.
I'll have to take the IQ test. I have no idea. I don't think I'm anything spectacular. I'm just very good at making myself look good.
That's a good one. I mean, that's a challenging one to run. I'd be satisfied with it as well, but it's a very, very challenging first module.
Which
Whereas
one?
Halakar, that was D3, Bolt of the Drow.
Yeah.
Whereas Halakar, that's not a good module.
Which one?
A3, assault on the area. Yeah, assault on the area of the slave lords. That's not a good module.
Yeah, that was a pain in the ass to run. I will admit that.
Yeah.
Which I'm actually kind of glad nobody showed up for Saturday morning, because I worked on one thing, and then Friday night around 11 o'clock, I'm like, crap. I don't know if I want to run that. So I'm scrambling around till like 4 or 5 in the morning, trying to get other things going around. So, I mean, yeah, I could have ran and it would have been fine. But me being me, I wanted everything to be perfect. And I was like, crap, now what do I do?
You just need a framework.
I started second guessing myself.
With OSE, just make a framework and let us be silly with it. I think that's the best way to approach it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to move on to a different topic. I was going to go on to a role-playing topic here, but I think I'm going to might shift that to next week if we run out of time. We're not going to discuss, I've already mentioned sausage a few times. I think sausage is worth mentioning again. So,
I agree with you.
And I will remind, if you weren't here at the start of the stream, Mike, who was the subject of the sausage video, plays in my Monday group, and we played online, and we played some OSE on Monday because the regular DM has gone on holiday. And I added 4 NPCs to the game. They were Sir Valois, Frankfurter, Monsieur Sausage, and Wurst. And
God.
poor old Mike. He didn't have his camera switched on.
That's funny.
Poor old Mike. Anyway, I'm going to go on to the nostalgia thing then here. I had this down as the last topic to go on to, but this is sort of like, I want to sort of seek into our feelings of nostalgia, and are we going to admit to them colouring our opinions of old versions of games? Are newer mechanics genuinely better? Is all the development worth it? Or were the games that we played in our youth actually better?
Who wants to go first?
Oh, I suppose I
How
can
do you
go.
quantify better as well?
Well,
Correctly. Yeah.
well, at the end of the day, a lot of this is going to be down to a matter of taste and preference. But I started out with second edition. When I moved to China, it was a lot of third edition that I was playing, because that was the only books that I owned. I didn't fully understand. Again, being Danish, I didn't speak English. I barely read it, so I didn't fully understand the books that I owned, and I needed them to be translated. So I played a lot of third edition for about 6 to 8 years. I have fantastic memories of that. It's where I get a lot of my interest for the crunchy side of the games. But third edition also took it very far, because I ended up owning something like 20 odd books. And wonderful, Halika, wonderful. I remember fondly having
That's funny,
but
Alcar.
yes, I remember fondly playing those games, but I also look back at it now and think, right, I've tried returning to those games. I'm also just finding that I like there to be rules, but there's such a thing as too many rules. So that's why I like second edition for that. It's got the nice little variety for me. But I would be a fool to say that some of the
And
modern games that have come out
up.
hasn't been, at least with great additions, because everyone's trying to make their role-playing game different from everything else that we currently have, which means everyone's trying to specialize in something. And that's the part that I'm enjoying from the current take, having different games that specializes in different thing. I mean, hell, if I just pick out Blaze in the Dark, it's really good when it comes to the atmospheric, dark, gritty, running through the dirty alleyways, that sort of feeling. I don't think I'll be able to do that with any of my other D&D books. Like, this specializes in that because it makes you feel that. So I'd say yes. My nostalgia certainly, it's helped me find out what I like. It's helped me basically hone down what I want to go for. But it's also, I'm trying not to let it color everything that I see, because I still want to find other things that I can take and bring in. Because as a game master, as a dungeon master, I am always trying to find ways of improving my style and how I run things.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the one reason I wanted to talk about this topic is because there was a guy I was talking to in the Bring and Buy sale at the Games Expo, and we were talking to him in the queue before we went in. A little bit of a queue to go in, and I bumped into him again, and I was carrying a copy of the Mansions of Madness board game, and it was the first edition, and it was £30. And he stopped me and says, "You don't want that edition." He said, "I've played the board game a lot. If you can find a copy of the second edition for a sensible price, that is much better because they've ironed out a lot of the issues." And obviously, it's a little different with a board game, but so I ended up getting this one. That's the second edition.
Yep.
And it cost me twice as much.
Yeah.
Second edition has the required app. Well, yeah. And I think with a lot of the games I play, it's not the first edition of the game that has grabbed me. Even AD&D, we call it first edition, wasn't the first iteration of D&D. There were things learnt from OD&D. And I would say now my favorite version of D&D is probably OSE, with a number of the advanced bits tagged into it, which I see as a refinement of D&D. But it's still got enough of that old school feel because it uses Moldvay mechanics, okay, with a few extra bits bolted on. It presents it in a modern way. It has refined the way everything's described and laid out, and it touches all the nostalgic feels for me. Because I think those mechanics in Moldvay D&D and Mensa and that sort of thing are superior in terms of providing a fun a gaming experience than any version from the mid-90s onwards, because it just plays so smoothly. It plays so quickly. It has that the sense of peril is there, and it stays there. It's what I want from a game. Now, what I want from a game is obviously affected by my gaming experiences, but I think OSE now is probably the best version of D&D, and it has learnt from the past. It has learnt from the mistakes made in the past.
It's also had a different focus with it, because one of the things that I certainly appreciate from OSE is the fact that everything is on one page. They have taken all the words and been so specific that they've broken it all down to one page.
Yeah.
And that is something that certainly makes it easier. It's one page, fits everything that you need to know about that. It does mean certain things get cut out, but end of the day, they've done expansions for it, and it's got the advanced fantasy, which is where you'll then find all the other rulings.
Yes. I mean, I'll come to a Dirty Histories and Hobbies comment in a moment, but yes, BX had 4 more years of gameplay than AD&D, and OSE Advanced has had another 30 plus years. Yes. So I'm trying to say here is, I think the core of those old rules gives a great game, but the refinement over time has only enhanced it.
Yeah. Bear in mind, when OD&D, AD&D, and all the other ones came out, the tabletop role-playing scene was only just being birthed out of the wargaming scene.
Absolutely.
So they were fumbling their way out into a market that actually didn't exist. They were creating something brand new. And now we're seeing, 30, 40, 50 years after, this entire market has boomed into a, million, some would argue, billion-dollar industry, where everyone's learning from everything that they're doing. And we've got all of the various bloggers and armchair, game theorists who go out to make their own things.
Yeah, of course. What are we doing now? What we doing?
Yeah.
We are discussing. I mean, we are officially creating content for the hobby on YouTube using modern technology. But yes, where's my copy of? I'm just going to say, I'm just walking away from this for a moment. Just bear with me. I can't see my copy. Where is it? Where's it got? There it is. Dirty History and Hobbies. I fully agree with you. If we're going to play AD&D and my players bring a copy of that,
Cool.
not a problem. Because that is a superb book. But I think a little bit earlier, Mr. Baker said it varies from game to game. New versions are not automatically better. That is correct. That is correct.
I do agree with that. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, look at what happened with 4th edition D&D, for example. Can anybody argue that it's a better role-playing game than any of the previous editions? It might be a better board game, but not a better role-playing game.
Well, for what they were trying to compete against, because they were competing against the MMORPGs.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing. They were adapting to the environment around them. And the role-playing aspect is something that we can always inject ourselves. It's not a bad game, but tagging it with the Dungeons and Dragons, that's where I would say probably not. It's a skirmish game, fantastic. War game, just as much. It was just the wrong branch to take it out with.
Absolutely. One game, I mean, there are people who will argue that earlier editions were better, but I think 7th edition Call of Cthulhu is the best edition by far. Because they got rid of the one stumbling block that was in the previous game that caused play to be a bit stodgy sometimes, and that was the old resistance roll tables, and they replaced it with newer mechanics. They brought in the luck mechanic, which helps the game move on. And some people say, okay, it makes the game easier. If you're playing a long campaign, it really doesn't. Only if you're playing a one shot where you can really burn the luck, does it make it much easier. But I think what they did with 7th edition in terms of switching the mechanics around a little bit really, really worked. And that's a 7th edition. That's a new edition. Still relatively new. About 10 years, 7th edition Call of Cthulhu? 8 years, 10 years? Something like that. It's about that. But I think it's great, and I much prefer. I've got the 6th edition book, and I've got a box set, the 40th anniversary box set, which has got the original rules in it. And I'm really not interested in playing that version because I've got 7th edition, and 7th edition is it just feels smoother to me. 5th edition is the newest Call of Cthulhu you own. But you can still play 7th edition stuff though. One thing they got absolutely right is that everything is you've got to do so little work to make things cross compatible. So it's
in that book you bought me, there's a whole section of how to convert the rules for 7th edition.
Yeah.
That reminds me.
Very, very simple. Hello, Slan. I know I've never played any of the Grey
John.
Hawk
I was
Boys
looking
material.
for that comment that you made. You had a conversation on Discord with someone about OSE and the different types of it, and you said something along the lines of, "Oh, it's all just OSE to me," but I can't find it.
Oh no, I made that comment in the YouTube comment.
Or was it a YouTube comment?
Hello, Bear. Yes.
Hello. Hello, Sax. Hello, Nun.
Hi, Daniel. Hope you're okay, buddy.
Yeah. The reason that is when we're talking about editions of OSE, I've got that one. Right. This is it's Advanced Fantasy. Those 4 books, and one book of core rules, and 4 books of basic fantasy. Now,
Right.
I don't differentiate between OSE Advanced and OSE Basic at all, because I got all that together. I run it all together. I pick and choose bits from all the books to use, and I just call it OSE. Simple as that. That is just
That's
all
fair.
OSE to me. So that's just how I perceive it. How are you doing, Bear? Did you catch any of the earlier stream or not?
No, I forgot this was happening. So I am so in the weeds with heroic right now.
Mhm.
I'm literally like, I forget the world exists.
Nice.
Okay. A couple of quick questions to put you on the spot. The first topic we talked about was spending money on role-playing games.
Yeah, what about it?
What? So we started off with a personal question. You don't have to be as precise as we were answering this. Saxia sort of didn't give us a precise figure for how much he spent, but he
Okay.
told us to get where we had an idea.
I-
What is the most you've ever spent on a single RPG product or event? Or just tell us the product.
I know. That's the thing. Like,
There we go.
I don't
All right,
know.
now I'm
Like,
back.
I've got... There you go.
Sorry, I froze. What was the question?
What's the most you've ever spent on a single RPG product or event?
Most I ever spent on a single RPG product would probably have been around $400.
That's $400 Canadian, so that'd be about £200.
No, that was $400 American.
Oh, right, okay.
Ouch.
No, I'm not
Right,
including
yeah.
heroic.
It's about
So what
£300,
was it? What was it? What was it?
It was a complete set for the Marvel Saga game, which has been out of print forever, and it's the one with the cards. And my original had been stolen, but I managed to find a complete mint copy, and it cost me $400. But I got it. Cards were still in the cellophane and everything. It was beautiful.
Wow.
And is there anything you regret having spent a lot of money on?
Yeah, D&D 5e.
I think
Hey,
that was a
Groovy
fairly,
kid.
that was a fairly common answer from a lot of people, but yeah.
Yeah, no,
I think
I regret spending money on anything. No, I don't actually regret spending money on anything, because every RPG I've either owned has been stolen from me or I've sold in times of need. I've gotten something out of, I've enjoyed to some level, or I've found some nugget of information. I used to buy superhero stuff. I didn't care what system it was for. If I saw it at the store, I was buying it because it was a superhero thing. And then I could mine that for information, which we're seeing the fruit of here 20 years later or 30 years later with Heroic in the Zenith universe, right? So for me, there's no wasted money in these cases. It's just some stuff was better than other stuff.
what thing do you most? You've always said most regret buying 5e. So
Well, I mean, I say 5e, but I don't mean that, because I got a lot of mileage out of it.
Yeah.
I don't regret. I'm not a regret guy. I find that really just silly. You know, people regretting things all the time. It's like, look, every action, every choice you made led you to the place you are today. You are the person you are because of the good and bad choices you made. Therefore, regret nothing. Celebrate your life.
be positive. Be positive.
No, that'd be positive. Be realistic.
Yeah, I've got a stack of books right next to me right now, but they are 0 mileage. Never run any of the games. Like at that point, I look at it and go like, okay, at most I've learned what not to buy. After 6 purchases,
There you go.
Daniel,
he's off to the land of Nod.
He's not at all. Bless him.
okay. I will mute him. I will.
Daniel, how can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat?
So yeah, I'm just gonna pop him in the back. If he wakes up, I'll bring him back in.
I just want to say, plus 25 karma for a good reference there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Button says himself a poet, does he?
I watched both of your Monday and Tuesday heroic games, and the difference between the parties is insane.
Saxus, get him back on topic. He's straying. Come on, Sax. Tackle him. Take him down.
All right, here we go, man. I'll be gentle. All right, gentlemen, let's get back on. We are talking about nostalgia, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
We are talking about nostalgia now, right? So the thing about nostalgia is we have cozy, warm feelings towards a lot of old games that we've played.
Sure. And thank you, Iman.
And there's how much of that is genuinely due to those games being good systems? Is new stuff usually better?
No.
Those old games, are they always worth the revisions, the changes, the new versions?
No. You're far too Sith in your absolutism.
And that's why we have you here, because you are always you're like the Grey Jedi, just down the path. Either
the thing is, I've already mentioned a few things where I think newer versions have been a lot better, and some games where I think newer versions have not been a lot better. I think the best version of D&D is OSE, because those mechanics are tried and tested and proven and presented in a way that's very easily digestible, and the game is a lot of fun, and I have a lot more fun playing it with a current group. And when recently, a couple of Mondays ago, bear in mind these players are people who cut their teeth on 3E, 4E and 5E, and they've been playing 5E a lot recently. I ran a session of OSE for them, and 2 or 3 of them said they haven't enjoyed a session of D&D as much in a long time. And I put that as much down to that was Monday guys. And I put that down to, quite simply, I believe the OSE mechanics to be superior in producing a fun game, an enjoyable, flexible, fast-moving game to 5th edition mechanics.
All right.
Is there a question in there, or are we just nostalgic about how awesome your game was?
But yes, talking about nostalgia. So what game system makes you most nostalgic?
I wouldn't know what it would be for me. I don't know if Mage's Musings might have hit it right on the head when he wrote his little comment in the chat right there. You got to go back and see it. It's scrolled by. But yeah, obviously, I'm super nostalgic for Marvel.
So yeah, but is it because Marvel can't be improved upon, or is it just simply because it was your thing?
I think I have improved upon it, actually.
Well, there we go.
I think I've modernized it. I think I've addressed a lot of the issues many non-players had over the years as the reason they didn't like playing it. And I think it's basically a case of just taking everything that it is and making it more. Finding the secret sauce within, and people are sick of hearing me say this. Can you put down Omen Owl's comment, please? My God, my head looks like it's like hiding behind Omen Owl. The whole reason I did this is because of Jeff Grubb, who, when I first interviewed him on my podcast, we had the conversation about clones and all this type of stuff, and he said game design is a conversation, and every time you make a clone, you're furthering the conversation. So make sure that you're advancing the conversation and not just repeating the same things over and over again. So I kind of took that to heart with Heroic and made sure that I went that way. But I don't think all games that get new versions are better. I don't think all D&D clones are better. I don't think all old games are better. I think some games have been improved dramatically by new versions that have come out. Call of Cthulhu 7th is the latest one. That may be hands down the best iteration of the basic role-playing system I've ever seen in all versions of it. I think it absolutely streamlines a lot of stuff that needs to be streamlined. It takes some of the stuff that made you go, huh? Why is it a percentile there and a D20 there? Nah, and fixes it. So that way a new player coming in isn't belabored with these idiotic grognard subsystems we used to have to deal with all the time back in the 80s. So I really, really absolutely appreciate that. conversely, Chill First Edition is the vastly superior of all three. Right? Second Edition was okay, but it wasn't the same game, and Third Edition's nonsense. That's why no one plays it, because it's involving flipping tokens and cards and power-ups. It's just like, oh my god, I remember that exact period of the 2000s where that was all the rage in role-playing games. Bits. So,
I say I agree wholeheartedly regarding Call of Cthulhu. Call of Cthulhu 7th edition is such a fast, fluid, simple, logical system.
really
I
is.
guess I'm lucky that
It's
that's the
beautiful.
only version I've ever experienced.
It's beautiful. And yeah, it was that resistance roll table that people struggled on the previous one. It was fiddly, very fiddly. One game, and I'm going to mention, because I've often mentioned it before, where I think the 2nd edition was by far and away the best edition, is Paranoia.
Never played it.
Paranoia is that sort of game you're meant to sit down in a room and have 3 or 4
Oh,
hours.
I know it. I just never
yeah.
played it.
I've never seen the interest in it.
Yeah, it just seemed like annoying to me, like tiresome.
Well, it is meant to be. But the first 3 or 4, you're meant to sit down for 3 or 4 hours and just laugh and joke and do silly shit for 3 or 4 hours. Now, the first edition had a little bit of crunch in it, which was a bit of a problem. Go on, Sax.
Well, I mean, it's no secrets how much I like my Excel sheets, but I like games like Adventure Conqueror Kings. I like games like Rogue Trader. I like the aspects of where the players can actually rise up from the ranks, and then they can have land. They can become knights, have management. All of these concepts, because that brings out another sort of like deeper layer where you can go from you've now slayed the fought off dungeons, acquired wealth. Now we're up, risen up into the courtly intrigues, and now you've got to adjust for that. You've also got to oversee, the fact you've got subjects, you've got to deal with tariffs, intertrade and everything that follows along with that. Like that to me is just the sort of like progression of the evolutionary part of a hero rising upwards. But yeah, that's like those are the sort of games where I quite like it, where there's a bit more meat to it, where you can go into the weeds and basically go like, okay, well, I'll do these calculations because I think it will be fun.
Yeah, we know you enjoy that, the numbers side of things. The thing with, back to Paranoia, the Paranoia 2nd edition then streamlined the game mechanics to make almost everything just a single D20. And the 3rd edition and onwards, it lost the tone of that was there in the 1st and 2nd edition, and it lost the spirit of the game. So for me, 2nd edition Paranoia, if you're ever going to play Paranoia, 2nd edition is the one you have to play. It's by far and away the best version. And I can't remember where I was going.
Well, we're talking about the whole nostalgia of it. So your nostalgia for Paranoia and how you've seen the improvement from 1st to 2nd led you to enjoy that.
First was the first one I played, so I should be nostalgic towards that, but I can see its flaws, and I would much rather play 2nd.
But again, like this is probably where Bear's point of view comes in. You've got to walk down the path of the middle, where effectively you not everything in that's new is good, not everything in the past is bad. You got to pick and mix. What you want. It's like honestly, in this modern day and era, we are living in a constantly evolving candy shop. Anywhere from the wonders of the Witcher RPG game, the Cyberpunk 2020 books and the 2077, where you've got a multitude of fantastic ideas and implementations that you can easily bring in. All the way over just to the simplicities of things like, again, Blade in the Dark. You want to have something fun with there where it's nice, easy, and simple, go for it. There are multitudes of others that use the same mechanics and setups. We live in an age where, honestly, we are spoiled for choice. So the question, again...
It's an embarrassment of riches.
Oh, on like 40 years ago, we weren't even sitting having these discussions. 20 years ago, nerds were a niche thing that was, you were shunned off into the weird corners. and people didn't really know, like, oh, you play Dungeons and Dragons, and the hell is that? You like, summon Satan or something. It's like, no, like it's kind of, we've moved on. We've got so much choice these days, which is one of the things of, like, as Bear said, I might not like the 6 purchases I've had here, but I've learned what I don't want to buy. I've learned what I don't want to read. I've learned what I want to engage with when I have my games, and that allows me to be focused, and it also allows me to, when I have a group, I can sit down and go, this is what I'm like as a DM. This is what I'm like as a player.
Yeah.
Am I compatible to the direction you guys want to go with? Yes, no, because I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want you to waste mine either. So
Yeah, it's so true. And I mean, I've tried to say this before. People have argued with me and told me I'm wrong. But again, I'm always of the when it comes down to people telling me I'm wrong about something, I'm very Missourian. I'm like, show me, show me where I'm wrong. Don't just tell me your opinion. Prove me wrong. Since I'm making a statement, and the burden of disproof is on you, not on me to show you where I'm right. It's for you to show me where I'm wrong. And one of the things I love right now is because I subscribe to 3 or 4 different drive-through RPG update emails. One for fantasy, like specifically though, one for fantasy, one for sci-fi, and one for superhero. And the 2 things I get the most are superhero and fantasy. To the point where I've gone from being someone who in the 80s was looking for superhero scraps wherever I could find them, to now having what I firmly believe is the second most populous RPG product being made today, which is superhero material. And people are like, no, it's sci-fi. And I'm like, trust me, I don't get anywhere near as many sci-fi updates as I get superhero updates.
No.
Fantasy is a furlong ahead. It's a country mile plus down the road. I mean, fantasy is the 800-pound gorilla. But we have all of these really awesome things available to us at the drop of a breath. Dude, I sit here making NPCs and doing art using ChatGPT. Having a back and forth conversation with an AI to get all my stuff written out properly and to do the layout for me and all that, which saves me a metric crap ton of time, which is insane compared to where I would spend a day doing one character, 20 years ago. And at the end of it, it always says, and I say thank you because I'm always polite to AI because I want to make sure it likes me when it takes over the world. It always says, hey, no, blah, blah, blah. If I need anything else, and have a great game. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it's become a part of our society now. It's who we are. It's what we are. We enjoy this. We get to have this fun thing. I do tons of generative art for my Patreon. For publishing, I pay artists, and that's just the way it is. And anybody who wants to and stuck their nose up, go right ahead. Don't pay me for my Patreon. Don't buy my products. But my products use human art. They don't use AI art. But I'm tired of that argument. It's like that argument now has become the pineapple on pizza argument, in that just let people do what the hell they want, because whether you like it or not, AI is staying. It is not going away. And just like when Photoshop came in, and I literally heard artists telling anybody I knew who used Photoshop, you're not a real artist. And now these same people are all on Wacom tablets every day.
Yeah.
The evolution of the tool is happening. But I use real artists for publishing because I believe that's the right thing to do.
And the fact is, talent is talent.
Talent is talent. But at the same time, I want to produce material for my Patreon. I want to pathfind and make sure I have everything the way I want it to be. I couldn't have done these things 20 years ago to the level I'm doing now. And that has made me much happier and much more creative and much more productive than I used to be, rather than being at the whims and mercy of artists I gave money to who never even... I can't tell you the amount of times I paid someone the deposit and never got the art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just happened. But the point is, that little side trek aside, we are in an environment now where our hobby it's a deluge. It makes the D20 revolution look like a trickle by comparison to what we have today.
Yep.
Everyone's publishing. Everyone's doing what they're doing. Everyone's having their thing. Okay. Beautiful. You got to sift through it. Signal to noise ratio, right?
Doc Flamingo, I haven't. I don't know what this is about. I don't know who that is. If you can provide any more
rules tirade,
any more context, I could look it up after the stream.
I'm gonna look it up. You go talk. I'm gonna look this up.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what that is. If it's on Twitter or places like that,
Well, there's a YouTube channel 4 days ago called Loot Goblin Marketplace. 44 Rules for D&D guy has a point. So I guess it's 44 D's Rules for D&D. Is that what it is? Must be.
Guessing so. Guessing so.
It was a rage bait shit post. Is this the one on Reddit? So my DM made the 44 rules of D&D. Is that what I'm looking at? A week ago? Yeah. Sorry, this post was deleted.
Yeah, I was looking at that as well.
Wow.
But there are other people who's made, links for it.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Never mind. Either way,
I've been a little bit out of the loop the last week because of the convention and all that sort of stuff. So I haven't been following any of the drama that's been going on for the last.
Oh, there's always drama. Dear
There
God.
is, yeah.
yeah, but
I used to get drama from the old school crowd, right? Because I would dare to say, I'm looking for a way to apply feats in BX. I might as well have just said murder all your families from the reaction I would get, you know? And it's silly. It's silly. It's beyond silly.
my favorite is still when they turn around and say things like, "Oh, you're not playing real D&D." It's like, what is real D&D? Like, oh, you would know it if you'd spend any time to it. Like, I own all the books that you venerate. I've read them. I know them. Now tell me, where am I wrong? Where is this? Talk to me like I am 5.
Seems like I seem to recall every single one of these venerated rule books had a comment in them somewhere that said, do what you want. Use the rules you want, change the rules as you see fit. I believe it was Gary who said the greatest secret that they need to understand is that they don't need our books.
But he barely did any contributions to the hobby. You know,
I know, he was nobody. He was nobody.
No,
Come on. We all know Arneson was the real man. Come on.
Exactly.
Thank you.
What? No, I
Dr.
thought it was the
Mingo.
Blues
Thank
Brother.
The Blues Brothers, exactly.
As
so
in
tired
their
of
defense,
that.
most are drunken, irresponsible degenerates.
You know what?
greatest-
That is fair. I've known a lot in my day, and yeah.
Well, look back to Victorian times and Georgian times, whatever, the greatest contributions towards classic literature. How many of those spent most of their time off their faces?
Hey, Hemingway said, "Write drunk, edit sober."
How many of them also died poor?
Oh, most of them. Most of them.
I'm just going to lay out the ugly part. It's like,
That's what an opium habit does to you.
No.
Let's talk about Van Gogh and the ear. Come on.
Yes.
Listen.
Yes.
Didn't he also have something with his eyes and his eyesight? Because you see, like, over the time, like, he keeps on making more and more of these circle things.
Swirly stuff, yeah.
Yeah, because I think people were. I don't know what the condition is, but like basically your eyesight and your colors start like intertwining like that.
No.
I have got no clue on the medical side of it. It's just something I picked up on.
My aunt Enid is a porcelain artist, and she's considered a treasure of Canada. She's kind of world famous in her circles. And she's getting on in years. She's getting up there, right? And I'm sure as her eyesight's getting worse and worse and worse, it's going to impact her ability to work, especially with her hands, because that's what she does. But I guarantee you, if I was to present to her a computer system that could take all of her work and understand her style, and then she could put on her magnifying glasses and use a mouse, and it would produce art based on what she wanted, and she could go back and forth with it, she would embrace it as an artist because it would allow her to continue creating when the body fails. We need to stop being Puritans. We need to stop being tribal, and we need to stop siding up every time something changes in society, because we just sound like a bunch of French people throwing wooden shoes into the machine, right? That's what we come across like the saboteur. That's all we are at that point in time. We're Luddites, and it's sickening to me because what's happening is because of the outcry, policies are being established by corporations, by publishing companies, things and that are just going to get overrun in 5 years anyway. So why are we going through all this pantomime right now? Why can't we just embrace and move forward? I guarantee you, just like organic vegetables, there will be an entire market for people who only want human-created product. I can certify 100% no computer ever touched this. Okay, great. Get your notepads out and call your stenographer and see if you can get that typed up for me on an old typewriter, please. Or maybe you could do it in a tablet or something. I don't know. but I'm just so tired of this because it's in our hobby the worst. Like, I don't know what it is. I hang out in music fields, film fields. Film fields get a little arguey, and a couple of other subgroups that I'm part of. I don't see the arguing and tribalism elsewhere the way I see it in D&D and in role playing in general. You're talking about nostalgia. Nostalgia seems to be giving way to tribalism. And then nostalgia is the flag of the tribe. We're nostalgic for whatever. Sorry, go ahead. I'm ranting. I apologize.
No,
I'd say in this hobby we've been tribal forever. From what I've heard, when new versions of D&D came out, there's always been people who've stuck their heels in and gone, no, mustn't. It seems to have been the case forever. Yes, but I think it's devolved more than ever now.
Sorry, go ahead, Sax. I apologize.
It's all right.
You patient.
I know. He just wants his turn, so I just usually leave him to
It's
walk
his
around.
show, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Doc Flamingo is having a nice little comment there. You know, what is best in a GM? You know, to TPK the party, to tear their character sheets before them, and to hear the lamentation of the players. Funnily enough, I do remember taking a player aside, taking them outside, asking for their lighter, and burning their character sheet in front of them.
Oh, yeah.
Because why not? Because they needed to be taught that. I had to set an example.
I've been there. Trust me, I've been there.
Yeah.
I 100% remember having my character sheet taken from me by my referee, and then what are you doing? You know, and joke was on him because I had made it on the Apple IIe at school, and I had a floppy disk with the character on it, so I could print it up anytime I wanted. But the point was, like, it was a thing. It was a rite of passage. It was part of what we did. But as for the tribalism, John, I don't know. Maybe it's because I came up in Quebec, and this is something I've realized more and more and more. Canadian gamers tend to be somewhat different than American and UK gamers in a big way. And Quebec, the English community here, we were so the smallest community possible in the hobby that we were just open to anything that got us to a table. You know what I mean? We played everything. We tried everything. We weren't picking.
It was the same. Like the moment you heard from like across. Well, I'm gonna be like Imam here, a bit of the younger one. At the school parties I went to. The moment I heard someone just mention D&D from across the room, I just like a missile. I'm just like halfway across. Like, oh, you're coming with me.
I'm just trying to see you sitting at a table and you hear it, and you're like a prairie dog.
Doc, I too would erase Paladin from a character sheet if it was spelt like that.
Yeah.
Paladin. Listen, don't pick on him for Paladin.
What if you have a non-English speaker and this is them, writing this down? Think of you picking on their self-esteem, John. Having no respect for
the English language, and John. Oh God, no.
No, like just look at him picking on people who can't even speak the language.
Dude, I grew up around French people. We said Paladin for the longest time until we heard an American person say Paladin, and we were like, oh.
Well, that's the same as
Paladin. Paladin. That's how we said it.
Like
Aladdin.
The evil dwarves from D&D. Forever, I have called them Duragar.
Yeah, the Durgar's Grumble.
Yeah. So I was then shocked when I found out that some people pronounce it Dwergar.
Dwergar. The Dwergar have come to the village. We must get all the people together and we'll get the Vikings. We will go and tell the Dwergar. Someone quick, go to the elves.
They'll always do a gar. I was from.
No, but like that's how there are two pronunciations of it. So Dwergar is apparently the way that it's meant to be officially done. Duragar is another one.
That's like the Drow argument. I don't care.
I know, but like my point is, like, again, for the longest time, because of the way I was taught in Danish how to divide up words, I've always been pronouncing it Duragar. And the one time I then came across someone who did call him Dwerg, I was like, what are you talking about? Duragar. Exactly.
I actually like the way
the question is,
sounds more Nordic. I like it.
Which
the question is, how did you pronounce Sarajin?
Which one?
Sahuagin?
Sahwagin.
Sahugin? I think I called them devilfish and made my life easier.
Honestly, I haven't used them until recently.
So mages using point out Bulette. which sadly, even though he made up the word, it is spelled like a French word, so Bulle. But we were corrected I was corrected point blanketly by its creator that it's Bulette. Or say Boulette. Boulette.
Yeah.
Because Americans don't understand that BU makes a bu, not a boo. But hence they have the bubonic plague, what they talk about on the media, because it's scarier than bubonic because it starts with the word boo.
Well, didn't he tell you on stream that it was Bulle? Bulle.
Oh, no. He said it was Bulette. Or Bulle. That's right. Bulle. Is it Boule? That's right. He says Boule.
It can't be E double T. It can't be A because it's E double T E, and that can't be pronounced A.
Bulette. Bulette.
Bulette. Bulette.
Bulette.
Bulette.
Mais c'est pas un mot français. It's a made-up word that he made up. It has not, it's
Åh,
not a real
for
word.
helvede også, John. Nu kan du bare komme tilbage til vores topic her. Det gider jeg ikke mere med. All right, now that I've got your attention. Yes, it was.
Buliti.
Right, gentlemen. Nostalgia, the things that makes us tick and the things that makes us crawl back from all.
I quite like Kabuki Kid's comment from a bit earlier. We had a tradition of putting the dead characters into a folder we labeled the morgue.
I agree with that.
I heard from a podcast that there is this other group has got a DM that when a character dies, the character sheet is then folded up, put on a large cork board, along with a quick drawing of the character's death. So it's just covered from end to end with this because it's also a killer DM who also happens to be an artist. So he would fold up their character sheet and then draw the death of the character on their character sheet before sticking it on this cork board.
Just to really stick the knife in, as it were.
Yes. So when you walk into this guy's gaming room, it's just like wonderful big large table in the center, a overhead projector pointing down so that you can have things happening on the board, and then on the left hand side you've got all the books, and the right hand side there's this giant cork book with all of the dead characters, just in case you ever forget that you will die in his campaigns. Mind you, he plays with players who play wizards and will say, you know what, I'll pick my weapon as a halberd. Why not? I still need a 22 hit. Doesn't make a difference.
How many characters are listed as dead in our Discord now? I don't know.
The OSC.
How are you not keeping track of this? What kind of...
No, someone is keeping track. You are,
I am keeping track. I haven't counted that. But we have a list of dead PCs in our OSE Discord area, and it's growing. It's grown quite a fair bit recently, and the manner of death is in there as well.
I'm sure Andy's got the notes from our Call of Cthulhu sessions.
Yeah,
He could whip up a death list for us.
There've been
27.
27.
3 so far.
Well, 3 so far in Call of Cthulhu. 27 in our OSE games.
Nice. Hey, Grumpy Old Slang, correct me on this one, but for morgue in French, it's morgue, isn't it? I always thought it was morgue. Am I wrong? Sorry, I'm sitting on my hands. Morgue. Is that the right pronunciation? Because if it is, please tell Mages Musicians to shut the fuck up. I love when Anglos tell people how to pronounce things in French. I'm always like, no. That's like when French people try and tell Latinos how to pronounce things, or Hispanics. It's like, no. Letters are the same. Languages are different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what other nostalgias do we have? What's your Let's do it this way. Iman, not much we can do with him because he's a youngin. But for you two up top, really, what is
Saxius
the one?
Is not that much older than me, just so you know.
But he's been playing games for a while. You're the youngin in regards to our hobby, sir.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. So, what is the one nostalgic game you do not have that you wish you could get?
Oh, that hits hard. So I own that already.
We're thinking back to things that we had when we were kids.
I would love to get my hands on the physical books of Mutants and Masterminds because, again, this is probably just because it was the only superhero game that I actually played.
Which edition?
I think it was third edition I got my hands on.
That's the latest edition, right?
Yeah. I didn't get anything earlier than that. So that was the one I got my hands on. That one, I still till this day I have some players who mentions it. I'm just like, oh, that was actually good, fun. Maiden characters were fun. Rolling up the games was fun. It was easy for me as well. I really enjoyed that. It's
Mock to your heart's content, Sean. Well, but here's the thing: you can still get them. They're available.
No, I know. It's just I have a list of things I want. That's like as
okay, it's fair. I was thinking more the out of print stuff from 30 years ago. But
out of print stuff.
I get that. It's a valid answer, Sax.
Yeah,
Sean, what version of D&D would you like to get from 20 years ago?
Well, no, for me it would be a proper, complete Moldvay Cook expert set.
Yeah, the BX set, like the two proper boxes in good condition. Yeah, I don't have $1,000. Sorry.
It's the Moldvay Cook one with the blue Isle of Dread in it. And those I had a set of the blue dice with a crayon, and I loved that pale blue book. Really liked it.
For me, it's Chaosium, the Super World box set, because I had it in high school. I never played it, but I loved reading it. I would love to have a copy of that again. And the adventure, Hard Times for Dr. Drugs, I think was the name of the adventure. I think. Bad Times for Dr. Drugs, something like that.
Doc, do you want me to make you feel really, really bad?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
Okay, you talk.
He's going to show me his copy of Hero World. Is what he's about to do, right?
Probably,
No,
yeah.
I'm talking to Doc.
Oh, okay. Good. I was going to say because I've gotten used to him just being mean to me.
Yeah. Anyway, if you have to go for a book that's no longer in print, it would be the 40K Rogue Trader books because there is so much from those that they're like the actual proper books that I can just mine for like any sci-fi game. You know, anywhere from here's how you can generate a unique planet.
Sorry, let me just answer Long Grumpy Son. Bad Medicine for Dr. Drugs. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but the 40K books of Rogue Trader, just because there is so much in there that I can use for generating the economics for interplanetary stuff and generating planets. That's the sort of thing, the way it's very versatile. Oh, okay.
I still have my map somewhere.
I'm just showing these for Doc because the Doc was feeling nostalgic about his old Iron Crown collection. So I'm trolling now. I'm trolling horribly.
I had do you have the Court of Ardor?
I haven't.
I had it. Now I see it's like $300, $400. I'm like, nope. Don't worry, Doc. He did this to me with Marvel superheroes. It's just you got to take him in stride. No more Empire means lots of showing off the things they've taken from other places and brought back to England.
Oh yeah.
I'm showing you about half of my collection at the moment. The other half is still on the shelves.
Good grief. I'm just looking at like what I've got at the moment. It's like, well, I'm quite happy with what I have. Because what I have right now is going to keep me entertained for like the rest of my life. Anyway, what else?
I've probably just angered Doc and made me probably stomping around the room, gnashing at the moment.
Yes, because that's what grown adults does when they see another person has the toys that they don't have.
Yeah, of course.
That's what I I'm uncanny. I've spent years. It's like, yes.
It's a hard life.
Yeah. But no, I said right at the start of the stream, I mentioned I got very lucky and got about 30 to 35 MERP books from someone who's selling it as a big job lot on eBay. And this was about 10 years ago now.
Nice.
I'm not parting with it. I'm not parting with any of it. I could sell it for an absolute fortune because some of that's in mint condition. But I'm not parting with any of it. I still run it. I run MERP fortnightly on a Saturday night on Discord.
Yeah, what's going on? Oh, sorry, we shouldn't talk about stuff in public, but I asked you a question you didn't answer, so I'm waiting for your answer.
I've sent you a reply.
Yeah, you said there was 3, but you hadn't told me how many were left.
One.
One more. So we're waiting for one more person to sound off.
Waiting for one more. Yeah.
Do they listen? Are they listening to these podcasts?
They often pop in towards the end of it.
Please, whoever you are, this one person, save the Palladium game. Agree to John's proposal. We beg you. Sir Devere begs you. The young
Nabri also.
Zahiric Knight does. We beg you. The eventual appearance of Saxius as a Dainsk merchant. We need this game to be saved.
On a positive note, maybe I am taking some strides to get my work under control. So, yeah, I will let you know because I'm going to try to do some freeing of my personal time.
I'm just going to say, if you are watching, I haven't seen you on the stream for a week or two, but Duralumin, it is the check out Discord. I have sent you. There is a message in the MERP bit about switching weekends for our MERP game because Bear can no longer make alternate weeks, and the weeks he can make to run Palladium clash with our MERP week. So I've put a suggestion there. Can we shift our MERP game to run the other alternate weeks? So to see, but it's up to you guys. I need you all.
Or I'll not be your friend, whichever makes you happier.
But the MERP game came first, so I have to prioritize it. But if everyone's happy to switch, then it keeps going.
Without a doubt, not an issue.
So anyway, speaking of nostalgia, I have a lot of nostalgia towards MERP because it was one of the first systems I owned. I came into the hobby through reading The Hobbit, first fantasy book I ever read. I have to say I barely ever ran it in the 80s because it was too much for me. And I've tried running it at the table in recent years and it makes my head, my brain fry. But I'm loving running it on Roll20 because the character sheets are automated and it does all the crunchy stuff for most of the crunchy stuff for you. So it runs very nicely. So I have a lot of nostalgia for that game. And some of that nostalgia is probably misplaced because I bet.
Are you saying that it's so much better to run this game online? Are you saying that there is a major boon for having this game being run online, John?
Yes, I am.
Is there something better it's better done online than in real person? Oh,
because of the automation of the character sheets. Because it is a crunchy system. The number adding up is a pain in the ass.
Oh no! It's not like someone would ever have said that on these streams.
No, I mean I've been quite open that MERP plays better when played through our current combination of Discord and Roll20.
Yeah. Now we've got another guest.
Yes. Someone has a knot in his fur and has decided I must remove it immediately.
No. From their perspective, you are the pet.
Yes, I am the staff.
I'm just going to. I can still. Daniel is still in the background. I can see him. He is down there, and he looks very, very comfortable. He's comfortably asleep.
Comfortably numb.
Yes.
Okay.
Though it doesn't look like he'll be woken up by a fine guitar solo.
I know you hate this, but we're going to do it and get it done, and then you're going to feel better.
For Golden Glory, I've heard a lot of very good things about that. I've
Yep.
never even checked out the PDF though, because I have the old 2E books, and I find them quite usable. If I was going to run 2E, which I'm not going to now, I don't think. While I respect that they made it much easier to fathom the rules, there are a number of changes to those rules that I don't think improve the game.
Right.
What is it you like, Saxius, that makes you feel great about 2E? I mean, I think you've already mentioned that you think it's a good blend. Oh, we've lost Saxius.
Uh-oh. All right, what's the question? I'll answer it.
Do you like AD&D 2E?
I played probably the D&D until 5e. 2e was the D&D I played the most.
Why is that?
Because it was just at that time when it came out. I played a lot of it.
Good, bad, indifferent?
And well, I enjoyed it, but then around 95, I just stopped playing D&D until 3rd edition came out. I didn't care for D&D. I've never been a D&D guy. I didn't start with D&D, so D&D isn't like it's not my holy grail touchstone like for some people. But ultimately, it was fun. I enjoyed 2nd edition a lot. If I had to pick of the AD&Ds, 2nd edition is my favorite AD&D. If I had to pick all D&Ds, I'd say BX with house rules.
See, my ideal D&D for years and years and years was AD&D 1E with, I liked what 2E did with speciality wizards and speciality priests. I liked what 2E did with the reaction tables on 2D10. Morale was morale 2D10 or was it
I don't do
1D20? I can't remember.
I barely care the rules.
I like that, but I like initiative and surprise from BX and the order of play in combat rounds from BX. So it's always been a hybrid. It's a hybrid.
Sax is back. Yeah, I can order my supper now.
Yeah, morale in 1E is percent based. I think 2E, 2E morale was better. 2E reactions I prefer as well.
Yeah.
And but what I didn't like in 2E is how they adjusted some of the character classes, how they increased racial limits, how they toned down the language.
What do you mean toned down the language?
I liked Gygax's florid descriptions of a lot of the items.
Right.
But I didn't like his description of combat. But I also I didn't like what they did with initiative in 2E.
Speed factor?
I prefer BX initiative. Group initiative 1d6. Off you go. Keep it simple.
Yeah, but you can still do that in 2nd edition. The core rule is that you roll a d10 and then that's the group initiatives for the two sides, and then off you go. That's the core rule.
Yeah.
The part that I want to bring in is the whole, you've got speed factor for your weapons, you've got your spell casting times. Why? Because now it's tactical. If you're going to go for like, I'm going to have a 2 great-handed sword, well, okay, you're not going to be the quickest draw on the battlefield. Why? You getting that big thing swung up and around. Yes, you can argue like, but the real weapon is only 2.5 pounds. Well, I don't care. This is what the book says. You are a big cumbersome thing who hits hard. That's the point.
In BX, you simply lose initiative with it.
Yeah, but again, like this is down for like the whole combat aspect. If you need to run up and stab the wizard to stop him from casting a spell, draw out your dagger. There you go. It's going to a speed factor of 2. You're going to get there quicker. You've also got, you can move longer as well because you've got like a movement of 12. That's about 120 120 yards, give or take, that you can that you sprint around because you're Olympian characters. It's
In
there's
in BX, you can spoil the spell as well, though, can't you?
yeah, you can, but again, like the whole point in BX, you're basically saying like, okay, it's you either win or you lose. But because in second edition you've got the tactical options of I need to go quick,
Yeah.
draw out the weapon. Here's how it goes. Again, these are the tactical aspects of the game that I like. This is what I want from my games, where you actually have to consider what are you casting because there's going to be an impact. And I don't know how many times there's been moments where my second edition Saturday group has had the wizard pull out his rod, which has a +1 to his initiative, and he has won the initiative and been able to do some major damage with a rod of lightning, simply because the rule states it's a +1 for rods and wands, and he wins initiative that way. So fantastic. Again, these are the things that I like. I enjoy that. It means that the players have got to put some thought into what are you doing, where you potentially going to be landing in the combat, and hell, go a step further. You're then going to have weapon specializations for the warriors and for the fighters. They're going to have multiple attacks early on. They then level up. They'll get more attacks. Then they're going to be able to become a high master or a grandmaster. Now they're going to be both hitting quicker. They're going to be quicker. They're going to be hitting harder. They're going to be more precise. There's a multitude of things you can do with the warrior, anywhere from the Spartan, versatile weapons master to the myrmidon, all the way over to a gladiator. Like
Unearthed Arcana turned me off weapon specialization.
Yeah, but that's first edition.
Yeah, it's first edition.
That's first edition. I'm talking about second edition. Yeah. So I know if the Arcana's got a bunch of other things, and you've got, again, these are the things I like about it. Again, these are down to the preferences, and again, you like OSE. You want it as simple as possible, bonked down. I don't want that. I want meat on my steak. Like to me, OSE is the bones. It's great, but I need my meat.
Yeah, but what I like about OSE is that it's very easy to bolt on meat. You can add meat to the plate. It's very easy. What I don't like about AD&D and 2E, and especially 3 and later, is that it's very hard to take things off the plate. Mm-hmm. Because, as I love to say, one of my favorite lines from Buckaroo Banzai, "Ooh, don't tug on that. You never know what it's connected to." And that's one of the problems the later game designs have.
That's fair enough. But this is down to like how I operate as a player and as a DM. Like, I like the fact that there's going to be a ground rule. Like, we're all playing by the same books. We've all got these things, and then building on top of that. And that works for me. But then again, that's kind of how I sort of like just around things. Because I know another DM there's another DM that I know who is only using basic fantasy, but he's been building that up so that it is his version of AD&D, but it's with all the rules that works for him and his groups, and he's been making that into his own thing.
So again, by your analogy, taking it to its illogical conclusion, there is no pudding in OSE because you can't eat your meat.
Yeah.
Because it's all bones.
Yeah.
That was for you, Iman, because I'm sure you're bored to tears listening to this conversation about things you don't care about.
I never said I don't care about it. It's just interesting hearing perspectives of things.
No, you have to be a DM to care about these things. I assure you. Players, they're like, "Wow, I show up and I roll dice." DMs are like, "No." But that's okay. I love you anyway.
I'm sure to find out one day. I love you too, bro.
You're never gonna. If you DM, I want to play in that game.
Yeah,
I bought him a Cthulhu Keeper's Handbook at the weekend.
I will not play that, but you can play whatever the hell else you want. If you ever run something that's not bullshit, I will happily play.
Yeah.
Well, no, why don't you play an Iman's Call of Cthulhu game
because I don't play Call of Cthulhu because it's a pointless endeavor.
I think it's wonderful.
Everything goes perfectly well. What happens to me? Perfectly well. Oh, what is the end result of the campaign? Yeah. I don't go insane and get to die at the hands of the horror?
No, because everybody does. It's
inevitable. So why would I want to play that?
You get to be heroic there.
No, you don't. It's not a heroic game at all. at all. It is the antithesis of heroism. It's survival.
Yes.
I would argue that the common man becoming a hero is much more relatable than heroes being heroes.
I agree, but I don't think Call of Cthulhu is a heroic game.
So what I found fun with Call of Cthulhu was that I could just make a very weird character, which was an insurance guy who would go and basically validate haunted areas so that he could flip them for the sake of a profit. I made that character purely because I needed a way for us to hook the characters into whatever bullshit scenario we were going to be thrown into. Why? Because that's the kind of player I am. I'm just here to help the DM have someone that doesn't need hooks. He's got me. I am the hook. I will drag the players kicking and screaming to wherever we need to go.
So I did a little experiment last night in my heroic game that I know Iman watched. I didn't give them an NPC in this group. I let them do their own thing. And it's amazing watching them spin their wheels and argue and debate and not know what to do with them. It was awesome. I loved watching it because I agree with you, Sax. Come here. Here's the adventure. Let's play. You know what I mean? That's normally how I GM. But in this group, I'm like, no. Let's see what they do. Let's see what these clever cats get up to. And, you know, they had a lot of interesting conversations in front of places. It was quite entertaining.
Yeah. My experience is usually my experience, you're going to have some players, much like myself, yourself, Bear, where it's going to be like, okay, guys, grab you by the scruff of the neck. Let's go. We're going to be focused now. And you're going to have other ones where it's like, why do we don't go in there? Let's have the next hour and a half discussing possibilities. And we'll call it a fantastic session because we feel like we got something achieved. And then maybe myself, and maybe you, Bear, you sit and go, what have you done today? Like, where you walked outside the house. That's how far you got.
No, I love role-playing. I absolutely adored what they did last night. It was hilarious for me. It was great character development, great moments in space and time, but it was so funny watching them just like not be able to make decisions and be at odds with each other every 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's where I'm terrible.
And then Mage's Musings was like one step away from starting an international incident.
Oh my god.
I think I might have to watch this at work tomorrow when I've got no customers in the shop.
It was funny.
Oh, they were both really.
They didn't fight the dragon nerds. Stop your nonsense. Someone paid $10 to have a dragon show up, and then you paid $10 to have the dragon die. So that's the extent of the dragon.
I'm just seeing like these people with like capes and masks. Like, hey, $10. Just roll over. Pretend like he actually defeated you.
No. So one of the viewers paid $10 to have a dragon show up. Okay, well, it should be technically 25 if you want to change the plot of my game, like make it worth my time. Yeah. But I'm like, all right, and then Bunny started giving me grief for, well, they paid for it, so you should. And I'm like, okay, fine, we'll do that. And then as I'm describing the fact that the dragon has shown up, Nerd throws $10 in and goes, and the dragon's dead. It's like, all right, so Sean got out in time to see people standing around a dead dragon in a park that faded away mystically. End of moment. It's the danger of having public chat and the ability to super chat things, but it's fun. It adds a little element of chaos to the game, and it's a memorable moment.
Yeah.
When does anything ever go out exactly the way that you hoped it would anyway?
Me personally, or just in general?
In general, but also you personally.
Me personally, far more often than you would expect because I don't have plans.
See, that's what
I have moments, I have things, I have scenes, I have stuff I want to see happen. But how we get there, well, that's going to be up to the players.
And then I've got my experience with yoinking John along in a session where he was dead certain he was derailing the entire thing, where I just sat and went, no, this is all according to plan. You are exactly where I need you to be, and you have no idea.
Is that because we'd completely derailed all the previous sessions and you'd worked out what we were going to do?
Well, I was, well, yes, that sounds a part of it, but I was sitting and observing you for a number of times, and eventually I found out the pattern. And I sat there and went, finally, now I can begin my work.
Yes. What was going to...
Seems
Here we
right.
go. I mean, Mage has got a suggestion there.
Yeah, why don't you run that, Mage? I'll be a player.
Oh dear. Wait, so would a player be able to donate just for the hell of it?
No,
Oh damn.
that would be dirty pool. That'd be insider trading. You know what I mean?
What's wrong with that?
It's illegal.
I don't see a problem here.
Yeah, well, that's the Dane in you speaking.
I am just hearing opportunities. My friends, let me introduce you to the wonderful world of cooperative trading.
Yes. Well, then the Dvargar showed up and everything got bad.
Ah, everything was better before the Varga. Let me tell you.
Dvargar are the worst, the way they come out of the mountains. I saw it myself with my own eyes. Great fireworm of the Dvargar.
I don't know what's happening, but I agree. We don't like the Vargas.
I'm just letting you get on with it. I'm quite happy to sit here and.
Well, listen, your sex life aside, maybe we have a topic we should jump on.
Oh,
What's that?
okay.
I like when I take a shot at John and he misses it. It's always my favorite because he's always like,
No, we're 10 minutes away from midnight, so my brain is just going.
I know, but it's like seeing a catapult launching it off, and you're just going, "Oh, look, pretty star."
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, no, I don't know. We're kind
I
of.
can't believe Sax is here almost to the end of one of these. My God.
Oh, I'm
You
sorry.
you were only supposed to join us for a few minutes tonight, Saxon. I think.
Yeah, I know, but like I'm kind of.
Must have been a good conversation. So you speak of mutants and masterminds. I'm looking forward to when you finally get heroic in your hands.
Yeah. Well, since you have asked, I have convinced my real life group to give it a go.
Nice.
So I will on the 29th. I'm going to be rolling up some characters. One of the players keeps on going, saying that he wants to do the boys or what's it called, Invincible. So I've said, okay, we're just going to do a superhero one. I'm going to use heroic if I can convince them to make a mini campaign out of that. And yeah, that's what I'd like to then do. Because my experience is that heroic games are fun.
They are. Superhero game in the spirit of Justice League or Agents of Marvel. I don't know what Agents of Marvel is. Do you mean Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? And by Justice League, which? The comics? The 90s comics? Schneider's Justice League? The animated series? Like, they're all tonally different. So I need a little more of... If I just have to pick randomly, Justice League. But I don't know what Agents of Marvel is. What's that? Is that something, or do you mean Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Mac?
I mean, let's just go with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
Just to
definitely
be-
Justice League every time.
Yeah. So, yeah, Mac clarified he said S.H.I.E.L.D. and any. I mean, I'm also a fan of the Justice League, but that's because I'm an open DC fanboy.
I just left that question for you guys to answer because.
Well,
Okay.
no, we,
Look, I would do Justice League trying to do it like the animated series, but given the players I tend to play with, it would turn into the 90s comics.
see, knowing me, it would be Justice League Dark, where we're going to go down the route of like having Constantine, Deadman, Santana, and a bunch of other things. Because again, I love the concept of like have heroes, but have them having to deal with like the not the overt superhero Batman kind of deals. Have them deal with like the after effects of like once you've got like interdimensional creatures coming around,
No.
heaven, hell, all these sort of things. I mean, hell, Etrigan is one of those lovely characters that I like.
Gone the form of man, come the demon Etrigan.
Exactly, I love that. It's just and the whole concept of like whenever Etrigan's about, he has to rhyme because it's a sign of status of nobility, which is again that's something that I love. Whereas other characters might find it annoying, it's a thing of that.
I love later in DC when they had something where it was one of the others were like, ugh, rhyming demons, they're the worst. Like it's like there's a whole subculture of demons that just rhyme and annoy everybody,
Yes, exactly. And then you've got people like John Constantine, where it's just like, okay, well, I'm just winging
John,
it up.
have you ever read any Constantine or any DC books of magic? Okay, there was a great series called Books of Magic, and in it, this child is born who will become Kid Eternity, and he's the most powerful magician. He's the greatest source of magic in the DC universe ever, and everybody wants him, and Constantine has him. And at one point, Constantine has to do something. He has to go do something, so he leaves him with Zatanna and a couple of other wizards, and in their stupidity, they say, well, why don't we take him? We'll go to the Magic Club where we all hang out, this club where all the evil and good wizards hang out together and party. And then they all figure out that that's the kid, and suddenly Zatanna and them are sort of like, because all the wizards in the room are like, we're taking that kid. And then from off frame, you get this panel of just this voice going, nobody touches the boy. And then a match strike as they all turn around as Constantine's lighting a cigarette. Turn the page as they're all outside, and Zatanna's going, you don't do anything. How does that happen? Because she's just like, that's Constantine. You would love Constantine, John.
No, John Constantine,
right up your alley.
awesome. He's got wit. He has got, again, he's just got absolute balls, but more importantly, like the way he manages to bamboozle, befuddle, and intertwine. The fact that he has got 4 demon lords bickering over a contract for his soul.
So he finds out he has cancer, and it's incurable. So he sells his soul to 4 different demon lords, and then commits suicide in a pentagram. They all pop up going, Constantine, your soul's... Wait, you haven't...
Exactly. Like, they're all just sitting there, like, we need to find out, like, where is the loophole? But they've all got different contracts, so like, they've got to find a loophole, and they're all very tight about it. It's lovely.
So they just have to cure him in the end of his terminal cancer. And as they're all leaving out, there's the one which is essentially Satan. And he's like, I could have let it go. I could have just walked away. Clean, I won. But I got to be me. And he's like, yo, old Scratch. You know, it's like you would love Constantine, John. He is your kind of character, sir.
I would
what
say
series of comics is that in?
Hellblazer.
Yeah, Hellblazer.
Hellblazer.
And Books of Magic. Get the original Books of Magic as well. It'll blow you away.
I mean, hell, even if you want to just watch the what's it called? There's a movie with Keanu Reeves as well. Just if you just want some insight for like how his character is, because he's just. I don't give
I
a
was
fuck.
thinking, is the film anything to do with it?
The film is good, but it's not quite constant.
It's not the comic. It's not the comic. Yeah.
How was the TV show? I never watched the TV show. Was the TV show?
Yeah. No. They try to go more comic book, but it suffers the same problem that a lot of the CW Arrowverse had, which is that the season 1, there's only 1 season, by the way. Season 1's got no directions until the very end, where they go like, "Oh yeah, by the way, this is going to be the big bad guy," but it's all like standalone, episodic, like they're their own things. But I think
he showed up on Doom Patrol, and I quite like the Doom Patrol show, and I think he showed up on that. And I can't remember if he showed up on Stargirl. I think he showed up on Stargirl as well in 1 episode.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
But he shows up a few times, but that's because the actors of like Arrow, Flash, and a bunch of the others, they were all supportive of the Constantine show, so he was brought in several times.
The actor was really good.
Oh my god,
Constantine was really good.
He was hired several times for the comic for the animations later on, because again he's got the look, he's got the voice, he's recognized really good. So I wouldn't say it's a Constantine from more comic. Like, yes, there's a lot of magic. Yes, there's a whole bunch of things, but budgets. But I wouldn't say it is.
I must say this is really, really apt and maybe a little bit odd. I might have to screenshot this, but you're talking about pacts with demons and devils and things.
Yeah.
I've just checked my channel page, and
666.
My channel in the last 48 hours has had 666 views. I think that is just. I think that is. Someone's just spoiled it. 667 now.
Damn them! Across the street from the beast.
Yes.
668, neighbor of the beast.
And 664 the other side.
Yeah. No, but in all seriousness, John, and for you too, Imam, John Constantine is just one of those characters. Like, absolutely, he's a fun character. He has got great wit, and again, like, it's the fact that he's a human. He is casting spells. He is taking some serious risks with what he does. But
Manowar 665 means you're across the street from the beast. You're not its neighbor. You're across the street. Neighbors on either side, it has to be even numbers. At least that's what I say. Let's fight it out in the Thunderdome.
No, that's how it is in the UK.
Yeah, but you guys consider someone across the street as a neighbor, or they just live across the street from you?
I'd classify them as a neighbor.
See, I grew up with the neighbors were on the sides of you, and the people across the street were the people across the street.
I was talking about number-wise.
No, like just like if you, I'm with Bear on this. Like if I've got neighbors, they are on either side. They're on the left and right. If you're across the street, we don't talk to you.
You're in the neighborhood, but you live across the street.
Exactly. There's a street that blocks the one side from the other, and that is there for a reason.
I could get killed crossing that street to talk to you. Therefore, I'm not going to you to borrow.
I grew up on a street with there were no houses on the other side, and yet all the houses on my parents' side were numbered 40, 42, 44, 46, 48. There was just no odd numbers.
There was no odd numbers on the other side.
Yeah. There was a school on the other side. So.
See, the Americans have a different view. You can see them all talking. So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Sax.
Anyway, we are at the end of the stream because we have reached pumpkin hour here in the UK. It has hit midnight, and I have to be at work it was an odd school, yes. I attended it, and so did my siblings, so it had to be odd.
John, stay on focus.
What?
There's my supper, so I got to go, boys.
Cheers, Bear. Cheers, Bear.
Bear. Take care.
So, I'm going to say thank you to everybody who's been on the stream tonight. IQ has been here all the time, and IQ has a channel in which he plays games, including Bloodborne. Are you still playing Bloodborne? Yes, you are.
Yes, I'll be streaming on Sunday. Let's get the shit done.
So check out his Bloodborne gaming. Saxius has also been with us almost the entire stream. He joined us about 10 minutes in, didn't you? I think 10, 15 minutes in. I thought he was only going to be joining us for half an hour or so, but you're showing some stamina tonight, some constitution, which is worthy. Saxius doesn't have a channel. He just joins us on the chats. Daniel was with us, but then Daniel, he's still asleep. I can still see he is still asleep. And Bear then joined in, and of course Bear has his channel where he runs lots of games, including Heroic, which is his own game. Check out his Kickstarter, and Palladium Fantasy, which myself and Iman play in. So check out that channel, and of course, stay on my channel. Check out my nonsense as well. I've just seen some things in private chat. Sax, do you want me to say?
No, you can. I was just
you
joking.
seem
Like,
exactly like the type of person who should have a channel.
Yes, one day.
One day I will get a channel. I'll try and make contributions.
Grim Squirrel. First impressions might be deceiving. We waffled on for a lot of tonight, but we were talking about spending silly money on games and nostalgia and stuff like that. So that was the main focus of tonight's stream. And if you don't get the sausage reference, then check out my shorts I posted at the weekend from the expo. My best video recently, in terms of the amount of people viewing it, is a short of my friend at the expo eating a sausage.
Yes, mage.
Yes. Saxius will certainly indeed excel at his channel. There we go. You've got some subs already. You've got to do it. Saxius. But as you all know, everybody in chat, thank you for joining us. Everybody who has their own channel in chat, such as Grumpy Old Slan, Mage's Musings, Seraphis. Seraphis makes some videos. Dirty History and Hobbies. Anybody I'm missing? I don't know. I'm sorry if I miss you. But you are more than welcome to shill your channels in my chat. I don't get protective over my chat. You can shill whatever the hell you like. But I'm going to go to bed. So thank you all. Thank you for joining us. Good night. And I'll see you on Friday.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.